Hello, everyone, and welcome to Answer the Call. A lot of people were asking where Croncy was this week, but unfortunately, Croncy couldn't make it. Some IRL things came up. We'll let him say whatever happened if he wants to, but we'll just keep it to us. And Citizen Spooner has kind of known that all this stuff was going to be happening and was like, hey, if you need help with hosts, I would love to fill in. And I said, perfect. And we were going to fill him in last week, but I thought it was better because we would have so much callers to do it a later week. And I didn't know it was going to be this week, but I'm happy he was available this week. So for people who don't know you, Spooner, why don't you do a little intro and like, you know, the thing that people always do. How did you find Star Citizen? When did you start streaming? You know, the let's get that out of the way, and then we'll start talking about 4.3.2.
Okay. This is absolutely horrible, having to talk about myself.
You're a streamer. You should
B
love talking about yourself.
no, I absolutely hate it.
I know, me
I
too.
played Star Citizen for 9.5 years, and I started streaming basically the end of Christmas, January this year, as a way to find friends to do the new content, which at the time was contested zones.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, man, I'm not gonna be able to do these on my own, you know, but it's gonna be full of orgs and stuff like that." And so I just started streaming, and then maybe a viewer would say, "Hey, I'll come and join you," and that's sort of what happened. And if no one was around, I'd just try and solo it. It didn't matter to me because obviously, when you die, it didn't mean anything. So to me, it was like, "Oh, I'll just run these people through them." You know, if people want friends, maybe these people, who don't like PvP, can come and find a place, where I can show them that it doesn't actually matter. I played the game basically for 9 years solo, like just coming in, checking out new patches. And I know most of the players played the same way, PvE guys,
Yep.
just jump in when there's a new patch, new location to check out or whatever. And then from there, we've just kind of, like, me and my little team that I started assembling would just run people through the executive hangars, and then that's kind of it. It sort of was a place for people who usually do PvE, for me to say, hey, listen, with tier 0, this is the perfect opportunity to get your feet wet, show you it doesn't matter if you die, the insurance, like, you get your ship back in 5 seconds, who cares? If you don't lose your arm or any, but, like, you know what I mean? It was like, it seemed like a great time to introduce the majority of this player base, I think, is like PvE focused anyway, but start getting them into, maybe learn how to defend yourself a little bit. And then that's basically my year, is just that we started streaming in January. And now, it's been the most insane year. I lost my job not long after I started streaming. And my tiny community, I had 14 members. They were like, maybe just see if you can become a streamer. And that's sort of what happened. So I ran
Yeah.
out, recently ran out of redundancy money, that I had in the bank. There was a bit of savings that I could start, to experiment with this. And as I started running out, I started making a little bit more from streaming. And then yeah, it's been a crazy year, but always been a bit of a dream. I've obviously watched you and Burks and all the other guys for years wanting to get in. When I've tried making videos in the past, there was like nothing really to make videos on. So you guys had my absolute, like, admiration, because I was like, these guys are carrying this game and there's nothing to even talk about. Um,
And now that there's
so
something
I
to
don't know how
talk
you.
about, I'm like unmotivated to make videos. It makes no sense. I'm
Well,
having the
well,
opposite.
from my point of view, this when Jared said it at the at CitizenCon Light, he said, it's been the best year. I feel like, from my point of view, it has literally been the best year. I like PvP, I like PvE, and so getting content drops every month is excellent. When
Yeah.
people come into my stream and go, "Is this game going to be released anytime this year?" I'm like, "It's released now. I play it every single day. What you mean?" And we get a new DLC every month with something in it, maybe a new ship
Yeah.
or a new event. And so, from my point of view, it's been the best year ever. We just spend it doing whatever the new events are, carrying people that maybe don't like PvP through the PvP events. And it has been the best year that I've had with Star Citizen. And yeah,
Yeah, it has
so that's it.
undoubtedly been the best year, but it's it depends. It depends on what you like. For me, it's like, oh, I want that I just want mining and salvage to matter. I want crafting, and because of what they did this year, my content had to hold back another year, and that's okay because I did pretty much the same thing. Is, man, if they like just focused on bug fixing for the year and didn't add this content as well, holy, this year would have been so boring, right? And I don't think any of us
Yes.
would have been playing it anywhere near as much. So obviously all that stuff was good, and it was, kept me engaged. Wicklow, all that stuff has been fantastic to keep me engaged, which is great. But yeah, that's your intro. Like, I remember not knowing that you had played a lot. I thought you had you were, when you started streaming, you started playing Star Citizen, but that was
That's
definitely
because
not the
you watched
case.
my stream. You were watching my
Yeah.
stream thinking this guy's a noob. No.
Yeah, so I was like, I had no idea, and you're like, for people that don't know, he's helping me learn PvP a little bit. I haven't trained much at all. I need to get back into it, but yeah, that I'm having that motivation problem with the game, and I'll get it. I'll get it back, but right now, just personally struggling with it because I'm having fun with other games and stuff. But yeah, 4.3.2 dropped Thursday, and there are lots of problems with it, but there's some cool stuff. So let's start out, like, what have you been doing, and what do you find to be like really cool about it, and what are you enjoying about it? And then we can obviously get into some of the issues that we've run into.
Okay, yeah. What I would say is that with Star Citizen, it's sort of it kind of gives you the tools to find your own fun.
Yep.
So if you don't like fun, like you don't want to just open the Moby Glass and do the missions that are there for you, there's usually something you can do that will be a fun experience in Star Citizen. It's an open world sandbox after all, right? So typically you can find something to do even if you're not a fan of whatever it is they're giving you to do. 4.3.2 got off to a bit of a rocky start. I know the servers were kind of struggling to keep up with how many people wanted to come and check out the new ships or check out the new missions or whatever it
Yep.
was. But I was lucky enough. Obviously I had the PTU downloaded, so just renamed it to live. I was able to get in pretty quick without a queue, and then spent basically the first few hours just running the new snake over and over again, which was incredible. It worked every time. I went there with a team, probably about 4 or 5. Sometimes I didn't even take my gun out because when you got that many people, it's quite easy to do. So the idea was we were just going to run it, try and get the materials, so we could do the Wicklow hand-ins. And so that was really fun. It worked. The doors worked, which
Yep.
on PTU that was not
It
the
was
case for me
scary.
a lot of the times.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did.
you and I
I
tried to
honestly,
do it a lot, and we struggled a lot, and it was like, all right, I give up. It was a matter of like who was going to give up first between Spooner and I, and it was often both of us at the same time because it was just like, all right, this is just not going to work, and you always fear
but
that
it
with the
did.
PTUs that it
But it did
that
on live, which I'm not entirely sure
exactly
how they
exactly
how did
like
it wasn't working at PTU, but they did it on live. Okay, I'm not going to ask any questions. They
nope.
fixed whatever the problem was.
Thank goodness, because usually those like, those iffy bugs in the PTU make it like, even if they fix them right before PTU is over, they make their way to live, right? And we
Yeah.
ran it over and over again until we got bored. Basically, it was like, all right, we've done this enough. We had like 28 eyes and then 10 tongues or something like that, and we currently don't have anywhere to turn them in, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But it was fun. I enjoyed it, and our last run, our squad almost wiped, and it was just me and one other guy, and we had to finish it as a duo, and it was like finally an intense moment with the snake, and it was nice. Like, it was like, yes, we did it at the end. And it's like, how often do you get that yes moment with the current content with Star Citizen? It doesn't happen that often, even the big worm and stuff, right? Because
Well, so I
usually
don't
you
know
just
if
bring enough people to kill it.
I don't know if specifically you want to spend a little bit more time talking about the worm and dungeons in general, but that night, a lot of people were having problems getting into the servers and stuff,
Yep.
and I made the mistake of trying to hop servers to join
Ooh.
with another group of friends
Yeah.
instead. And honestly, I was like server locked for like 2 hours, and then I
Yep.
was like, right, guys, I think that's probably going to be the end of stream. I've waited for 2 hours to try and fix it. I came back the next day and I was still locked. And if any of you guys are experiencing shard locks, for me, what fixed it was going into Arena Commander, doing a character repair. Then it kicked me out of Arena Commander. Then I did a full reset of the launcher using Control Shift Alt and R, and then that got me in straight away. So waiting overnight didn't fix it. I actually had to do that.
Yeah.
And then I could play the new patch. But anyway, that was my first day. Is that I played the worm for quite a bit, and then we got locked out. So
Ah,
that was day one. which is
Yeah.
typical MMO things, right? When a lot
Yeah.
of people try and join the servers. It was my mistake. I shouldn't have left the server. It was working for me. So, um, yeah.
Yeah, so that might fix your 41K error or whatever people are having, because I've seen similar things of try this, change your, like, melt something in the pledge store. I think people are trying anything. And yeah, some of the stuff is working. I think there was a Reddit thread of what to do. Is that what you followed, or I didn't? I
It
have
was I think it was a suggestion from chat, but
okay.
it was the error I had was very specific. It wasn't like popping up an error. It was when I'm loading into the PU, it wasn't loading. And then if you bring up the
Yep.
display info, it was you could see it wasn't like doing anything. It was like my
Yeah.
character was in an unknown position. And so I think I was just locked in that
Yeah. I've
weird
seen people
part.
complaining about that, so you definitely weren't the only one. And yeah, a lot of people are like, "What happens if I can't log? If I'm just getting a never-ending loading screen?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't know. It hasn't happened to me yet, but I'm sure my time is soon because it will always catch one of us eventually." But yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking the the other things that I enjoyed were the ships. Some of the ships I really like the Paladin. A lot, a lot. Like I think it might be daily driver type, not solo, um, but one of the ships that I definitely want to use when playing with my buddies. But I know I don't want to put words in your mouth, but is the Shiv still your your favorite?
I think so. I think the
Okay,
Shiv is it's just kind of cool. It's unique. Like for me, um, like I think for a lot of people here, the ships are a bit of a draw to the game.
sure.
So, when they release a new ship, if it's cool looking, I want to go and fly it. I want to spend a bit of time in it. And for me, it's all the stuff that we go and do in the game. The ships are another character. They're like, a piece of armor in another game, where you earn the ship, which obviously in this case we're not doing. But then you spend your time in that ship and it becomes a little bit of a home. And for me, the Shiv feels apart from how you get it, I wish that how we got the Shiv was like different. I wish that
Yeah,
it was behind some sort of Grey's rep. Hey, I've got some dodgy missions. Go and collect me these parts of ships, and then I'll sort you out. And they can always do that in the future, right? Because
exactly.
this still it's an alpha. But in comparison to the Paladin, which is just a really well polished military ship, there's no junk anywhere. It also feels like it's lacking a bit of character. It's really cool, like shape. I like the U shape from the top, and but the Shiv to me just feels cool. It
That's
feels
all
like what it is,
character.
which is like, yeah, it has all character, yeah, and even a poop bucket, right? So
And then unfortunately, the I don't even remember the name of it. The Vandal one, Scalpel or something.
yeah, that's it, Mike.
Stinger.
Scalpel.
There you go.
Yeah.
That
Did you
one's
use chat?
no, no. I actually didn't that time, but they typed it at the same time. But the Stinger is visually I think the best looking, but it's just definitely not for me as far as
I think
using it for
the
anything.
Stinger might be useful in the future. I don't know if
I think so
heavy
too.
fighters suffer for the fact that armor is not a thing, and so currently it feels like quite weak.
Yeah.
Especially if you try. For me, using heavy fighters has always been my like PVE ship. I can
Yep.
survive a little bit longer. I can tank a little bit more. I can stay out and do oranges and reds and look for ace pilots, and I can stay out a while in a heavy fighter. And I feel like this is currently the worst heavy fighter to do it in. There are so many more ships that you could be using that are more fun to fly. For me, it feels kind of exhausting to fly, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I was trying to use it all day yesterday and I was exhausted. I was like, this isn't fun. And it's also making me tired. I don't know why.
It's like you're just like move. I feel like with it, like just go where when the paladin moves is more agile than the shiv, it just doesn't feel right. But like I was doing like low flying runs into these new locations for the event, and like yeah, the paladin was able to do it, but the stinger I don't think could have. And
But I think the Stinger, you expect it. So I'm okay with it being as slow and fat as it is.
same.
Is if it's really scary when it looks at you and it doesn't feel scary. I sort of wish they'd have gone down the ion route with it, which is maybe just remove all the smaller weapons and just make that a size 7 gun on the front,
Yeah,
and then the
just
mobility
huge.
kind of makes sense to me. It's a huge boat, and when it looks at the back of your Idris, it's going to do a lot of damage. But here, I feel like it's kind of squishy. It's really chunky, so it moves slow, and then it doesn't have the damage when it looks at you. And even
Yeah.
if it looks at you, you just go nope, and you just sidestep it. So to
Exactly.
be fair,
So I think hopefully, as far as at least its defensive capabilities, like you said, like when engineering comes out, that gives them an extra lever to make ships unique from each other from that standpoint. Some ships can be heavy on shields, some ships can be heavy on armor, and they can make that more interesting and have more depth in some way if they want to. But I think what you're saying is obviously the big problem with it is it doesn't matter if those are the weapons that you're using, right? And uh velocities and all that stuff. So something's got to give. And yeah, somebody in chat just said heavy on price is basically what it is at the moment. And but it's beautiful. I think cockpit view is one of the best. I love the UI. It's great. So I think the reason why people are maybe annoyed by that chip is they want it to be good, because I think it's pretty badass. So it's like that's one that's like, damn, I wish it was better because I want to fly it. And there aren't many ships I think that you can't take out and use. Like maybe you don't PvP with it, but that's definitely one that you just gotta kind of leave in your hangar and look at for a while until they do something about it. But yeah, so then I guess the next thing I want to talk about is the Frontier Fighter stuff. And you said you haven't participated in it much. Well, you're not missing much. I tell you that much. You are not missing much at all. I'm gonna try and find me doing it, but it is a lot of what we had before in the previous kind of fight for pyro type stuff. Is you're just doing repetitive. Oh, you're not on this. Ooh, no. We're gonna stay here for now, and I'll add you to that one. Um,
my name's Croncy.
yeah,
Ah,
just a Croncy shout out. Um, but yeah, so I was doing it and it was simple, and I don't. It's weird. I like doing repetitive content for MMOs, but I like doing them when the drop rate is a thing. Like when like drop rate is a thing. So killing a bunch of like NPCs, looking in their backpack, and sometimes getting something cool, for whatever reason, that is like a dopamine thing for me. Doing this and watching the bar go up is close to that, but not quite. And there's a lot of issues I have with this event. I know you said you haven't started it yet. Are the maybe the issues that I have, are they the reason why you haven't started it yet? How are you feeling about
ah,
the event so far?
okay, so I'm a little bit of a victim of me because I love testing things in PTU as well. I love experiencing them in PTU. I kind of like experiencing things, before there's 100 videos online showing, how to do it. And I kind of like experiencing it first. And also, I like testing out the new content. And I think that's like my community likes seeing the things first, so we'll try and do, the new missions first. So I tried them all on the PTU. We tried them nearly every day that they were in the PTU.
Mhm.
And the problem for me with them is that go somewhere, kill the guy, and take the thing or whatever is fine if you're doing it once. But I think that a lot of these ones here, the harder ones that reward 100 points or whatever, um, the the requirement to have to do them 10 times or 15 times is like I get maybe just make it 5 times. I know they want to try and make it appear to be this big grindy thing. And then also the missions that I liked in PTU were the ones that weren't working. I don't know if they're working now, but the ambush ones, most of the time we would go to do an ambush and
That's
it
not
wouldn't
this
update,
week.
when you got there.
So
Okay, so
yeah, this week is
but
like straight up FPS as far as I understand. Go down to a bunker, get the data pad. That's this
okay.
week. Next week, I believe, is the ambush stuff.
Okay, so hopefully those ones are working when they get to but I sort of preferred the ship versions of the missions and not the ones where you have to get out your ship, go to a bunker and kill the thing, which is probably more of a me issue and nothing to do with the game. But also these missions, and I felt like what was the last event, the resource drive, where it felt like it was all just solo missions, and these feel like there's no reason to get the group back together. And I like a reason to get the group together.
Yeah.
And I feel like all these missions are like just get in your ship and go and do the mission yourself. And for me, that kind of sucks because it doesn't feel like we've had a reason to get the band back together for a while. Um, and so that's sort of what I'm looking for from these. You know, maybe there's optional solo ones, but there just is no group ones. And so for me, all my friends are off just doing it by themselves. So there's
Yeah.
no reason for them to even join me.
That's what
So
that's
and
what
then
we
when I
did.
get into the game, I'm like, well, no one's playing with me. I don't want to do it on my own. So
We did it by ourselves and shared the missions, and we were done in a day. I had, and again, I keep switching to that scene, and your camera should be there, but it's not. So I don't know what the hell's going on. Little OBS problem, but yeah, the the fact that like you can share them is definitely like makes it so much simpler and so much faster. So unlike Resource Drive, where it took multiple days to finish, this one it took hours to finish both tracks. What are your thoughts on being able to do both tracks? Like before you go, I love to be a completionist, right? So I love to be able to do everything. To That's one thing, but I also love the idea of rare things. So, for example, for Resource Drive, if you only were able to choose one side, man, that ArcCorp stuff would have been rare as hell, right? Or maybe the Frontier Fighters stuff and we do have this aspect most likely in the future for the first fighter fight for Pyro. The Frontier Fighter items might be rare at some point in the future, and I like the idea of that. So, what do you think about the ability to be able to do both tracks?
so my it I've got sort of boring answers to a lot of this stuff, which is that it's an alpha. It doesn't really matter. Reputation doesn't matter. Like I wish it did, by the way. So I wish that I could be headhunters and represent headhunters, and then it would lock me out of missions for all the other factions, and
Yep,
I wouldn't be able to go to other factions, controlled stations. I kind of wish that was the case. My guess is in the future that that will be the case. But right now, where we're playing a game as they're trying to develop it around us, just a lot of this stuff. I'm trying to exercise patience, and like I said, I played it for 9.5 years, but I backed since the beginning. I paid attention since the beginning,
hmm
and so I think that if anyone's currently playing Star Citizen that's been around that time, patience is something that you guys have already had to. You already demonstrated. So I'm kind of opting for patience in this situation. I really hope in the future you can only get one. Right now, I'm kind of glad that you could just do it if you want, because then you could get the best skin for the arrow, but then you might get the MTC skin that you really want, by doing the other faction
sure.
this time. So
There,
right now, to me, it doesn't matter too much, but yeah,
there is an argument. Like I will fight you on this one a little bit though, because
do it.
this is the time where you tell them what's fun for you. Like the it's an alpha argument it is the argument for this is buggy, that's why your claim times are short. It's an alpha is why tier 0 exists if you don't like that, right? Things like that. Like those are legitimate arguments for things that people don't like. But when it comes to aspects of the game like this, I feel like if you don't give them feedback on the fact that I really like being able to do both tracks or I really don't like being able to do both tracks, it's just going to stay both tracks. And they're going to
Yeah, I mean that's
assume that you
that's
like it,
completely fair.
right? They're going to
That's
assume
completely
that,
fair.
that you like this. So for
I
me, I
think
always bring up
that's
that like, hey, I want to be able to choose a side. I want the side that I choose in this thing to start mattering. And I want it to start maybe it doesn't matter a ton in the alpha, but I want it to start mattering so that when we get 1.0, that experience is as juiced and good as it possibly can be, right? And yeah, it's an alpha. So like if shit doesn't work and the missions are bugged, who gives a shit? But and yeah, the rewards don't matter now, right? Like that kind of thing. But I want the decisions that we make to start designing the game, and the this is where you figure out what's fun, right? And for me, I think choosing a side is part of the fun.
so I think maybe naively, I just expect CIG to be making decisions that most of us are already thinking, that would make the game better.
Oh yeah, you're naive
And
as
so that,
fuck.
that might be
You're naive
that
as
might
fuck.
be some naivety, right?
Yeah.
Because like, and I would just say when we talk about rep, and that obviously the developers know all about rep, and they're obviously they're making the game, right?
Yeah.
So I would assume that it was in the plan to make these things like what you're saying, which is, hey, you've got to make a decision. You have consequences to your decisions, and reputation matters. Right now, because we don't even have like basic reputation stuff, with like maybe you've killed too many rough and ready, so you can't go to
Yeah.
ruin anymore or whatever. Right. Like I would have loved to see that come in with Pyro, and I'm still waiting for
We
that.
were
And I'm assuming
expecting
that
to. They really
do you-
highlighted Pyro to kind of be like that.
and so we haven't got that, and we're about to get Nyx. So my assumption is that rep is probably just going to come in as like this whole, it'll be the reputation patch that comes in eventually. And but for me, I think it's a bigger issue with communication from the company and hearing from these teams directly. So when we get the patch notes out, or when whenever a new thing drops, it would be cool to speak to the team responsible for that, right? So when they just did all the salvage refactor or whatever, because I don't pay too much attention to salvage, it would have been great to have the boss of salvage come on and put some lines in the patch notes, guys, this is what we're doing. And in this instance, like having someone like Elliot, right, who is obviously doing all these missions, it would be cool to have Elliot be like, guys, currently you can do both tracks. The plan in the future is you won't be able to do both
Yep.
tracks.
And then
And
we're
to
not
me, it's
having
just
this
a bit more
conversation.
communication.
Yeah.
And then we don't even need to have to, and then they don't need the feedback we're giving them is different feedback at that point, right?
Yep.
And I just think that, to me, the communication has felt off for a while. We don't get regular Inside Star Citizens anymore. And I felt like for the longest time, it's felt a bit more like a corporate business than we're in partnership with the devs making the game. As they expanded and grew the company out, moved to, bigger offices, got more staff, it felt like we're no longer in it with them and making the
No.
game together, and that they're making, they're going to deliver as a mission, and then it's either good or bad. We didn't really get to say, hey, I obviously there's been conversations around, summits, or like, backer summits. Maybe you take some creators, you take normal player, normal the
Yeah.
backers or whatever. And then, hey, we've got this idea that we're going to do a worm encounter and this is how it's going to go or whatever, like early on. And then it's like, is it instanced? You can have all those conversations, and, maybe people are just going to A2 bomb it, like whatever, right? Like you could
Yeah.
figure this out as they're developing the content. And I feel like they've moved towards a traditional game company in the sense that they want us to be surprised by things, but it also means that we're not getting any input on anything until it's live. And by that
Yep.
point, it's like, they're not going to change anything now, right? Like it's done when it's in PTU or Evo. It's done. So for me, it just felt like communication is my biggest problem with the company. And so a little bit hearing from the teams as a new thing comes in would be awesome. And maybe they just want us to experience the missions, but it would be great to have a little bit more feedback from Elliot if it's about missions. Hey guys, this is currently how it is. The plan in the future is to do this, but let us know how you like the new missions for now.
Yeah, like I feel like that was of all of the results of the year of playability, that was the most impactful in a negative way, was that we're not bringing the developers on anymore. We're not doing ISCs as much. Basically, every ISC has been a ship sale, like car salesman show, aside from just a couple. And some of the like we've just had so few SCLs, and it's such a weird thing because there's so much more content that there's so many more things to kind of discuss and have that, maybe loose back and forth that you bring up of like, yes, we know these issues. This is our intentions with these going forward. And then it's like, all right, cool. Like I'll just enjoy what I have now and wait for that to actually happen. And then, now all we do is we get a patch drops, there's a Wicklow thing, and people are like, I'm getting tired of Wicklow, but they haven't really said much about what their intentions for other mission givers going forward, just the fact that they have the intention of doing other mission givers. So we're all just sitting here kind of going, what's going to happen? And then, the most communication they had the entire year was CitizenCon, and they spoiled all the content for the next year. And it's like, what?
So I know that we've probably derailed the conversation around live, but to me, this is like this to me is a big issue because
Yeah.
Star Citizen, when there was nothing to do in Star Citizen, I at least had content to watch each week,
Yep.
from various
What's
teams. So it was
coming?
like, okay, I'm not playing as much, but I'm hearing from the developers more, and that gave me more confidence. And
Yep.
to me, they said that the subscriber money is the thing that goes towards paying, for Around the Verse or, Inside Star Citizens or and it felt like this year, since we moved to the behind the ships, it's like, well, I hope the subscriber money is not paying for those because they're ads and I don't want to be paying for ads to myself for
Yeah.
new ships. But inside Star Citizens, we've had less of, but we've still been paying our sub each month. So I
Yep.
just feel like there's communication missing and there's inside Star Citizens missing. And with content, I actually don't even want to see that much stuff on content. Like if you're going to
No,
drop new
after.
missions, yeah, till after. And
Yeah.
it's
After
and for
discuss.
me, yeah, exactly. After it's a discussion about it, what they could do better next time. And I think that for me, this is something I know that you've spoken on as well. For me, if they're going to drop contested zones, for instance, hey guys, here's this new thing, contested zones. A month after it's been out, Elliot sits down and plays it on stream with you or with another, developer and goes through the content. My guess is that they probably don't want to do that because my guess is, I mean, they'd have to do it on an internal build, an internal servers or whatever, because otherwise it probably is going to break in some sort of way. The key printers haven't been working in contested zones for 6 months.
Good.
So for yeah, but
Good.
exactly. And that's
Experience
and
what
that's
we
sort
have
of
to deal with.
exact and so I sort of would love, the Onyx mission and the Worm. Great. Now play through it. A month after it's been out, play through it and just talk about the process. Bring on the developer who made the Worm, and then you take us through. And Destiny used to do this, is that they do a raid along, right? Which is
Yep.
like the raid's been out for a bit. Now you got the team who did the raid. They're going to show you how they do it. And imagine Elliot doing Stormbreaker with a couple of devs on live and not getting flipping bombed by some griefer team or whatever. And tell us how having beds at the location's a good idea, Elliot, when he's stun locked in the beds, from a team showing up and just putting him permanently in bed. And it's not to shit on Elliot because I love Elliot. I genuinely do. And I think that he loves the game. And I get that in his communications. But do it on stream, Elliot. Like we do it every single day. And that's why, people will say Mike's salty or Mike's pissed off or Spooner's crashing out because, he can't get out of the bed. And it's like, well, yeah, because we're playing this for hours on end on stream, and these problems are so glaringly obvious that it shouldn't have made it to live.
Yeah.
Beds at the respawn, at the location shouldn't have been there. And now, like for me, it's been impossible to do it because every time I do it, and I know that this isn't me crying as a streamer, by the way, everyone. So relax. I know I'm playing it on stream, but the problem isn't that someone's come there to kill me and I'm on stream, so they got the information. The problem is that even if I killed them, they're back 10 seconds later. And after an hour, I was like bored. I'm like, we're killing these people. They're killing me. I'm just respawning. And it's like, I would have loved to see these developer alongs or whatever you want to call them. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
anyway.
I think they play internally, but I think that they should experience what we experience, and then they won't have to. I think they'll easily learn, but I don't even know. Like it comes down to a lot of like priority choices, right? Like people are just like ship it. Like let's talk about Wicklow for a second, because we may have gotten off, but it brings us right back because Wicklow missions have improvements to them where they're on the panels. Now I thought they were both in your mobiGlas and on the panel. Spooner, I'll let you share what is actually happening in a second. But before we get those properly, this is, by the way, what mission pickup on location meant, which is, I'm surprised that this was it. But the current situation on the hotfix is Wicklow has been removed because they are not asking for the correct recipes. So there may not be favor in it. There may not be Polaris bits. There's a lot missing from the recipes. So they've removed the guy completely, right? And these are things that players recognized in the PTU, along with an Onyx facility issue, which, the code to get into Hyperion does not match the code on the door. And you can't complete the last Hyperion mission because of it. these are things that, like, that specific bug happened to be on stream. There was a dev, I didn't have to make an IC report. There was a dev, like, so there's no excuse here. There was a dev on stream who pushed that one up the ladder because he said he was, and it still went live. So somebody there is making a decision that's saying, we don't care about the quality of that necessarily. And it's an alpha. We'll fix it when we get a chance to. We'll hot fix it, whatever. And yeah, that communication, even for me, I would love, hey, we know these issues. We're going to ship it out. We want to get some information on X. And that's more important. We'll get to it. So just we'll disable that mission for right now or something. And they did that with Wicklow, but they're not doing it with other things and so on. But yeah, I'll let you share your opinion now while I sneeze real quick or cough.
So I think that a simple thing, which is quite difficult. I don't understand how they still haven't done this either. And maybe it's not simple. I'm not a dev, okay? I'm just an idiot on the internet. But you know when people load up the game, why is there no like news bulletin on the homepage?
Bro, I've been
that
saying
says,
this
hey,
for years. Oh my God.
in big fat writing, hey, Wicklow is broken. Don't waste your materials. Don't go to him. Like, whatever. It's off right now. Wicklow is off because I put up a video yesterday. For those of you guys who don't know, Wicklow now is not in your Moby-Glass, apart from like maybe one mission for whatever reason. But now Wicklow, you have to go to him to accept the mission in person, which is kind of cool. It's like a,
Yeah.
you know, like a bounty board in another MMO, right? Like you
Yep.
go to the, you know, in Destiny, we'd go to the tower, and the tower would be the place that you see other players. Although Wicklow's instance, so you're not even seeing players there. It's very strange. But anyway, it's a cool place to go. And maybe you meet other players in line who are like, you know, they're picking up their missions and it's cool. That's now Wicklow. You have to go to him to pick out what you want and then, you know, pick out the recipe or whatever.
Yeah. I think it makes
but-
sense because you see the reward and you go, I want that. And then there's the mission to get it.
Well, all that
Kind of.
So-
There's the recipe to get it.
So firstly, they've turned Wicklow off today. So I made a little video being like, hey, you have to go there to get it. Then everyone's commenting on the video saying, hey, I'm losing materials here because I'm doing the
You
mission.
just
And
cost people all their Wicklow
and I said,
materials.
well, isn't it turned off? Like, how are you guys even taking the missions to turn them in? So I don't know if there's a problem there where people
Yeah.
are still able to accept the missions and then they're sending materials down on the elevator and it's not rewarding because he's turned off. I don't know if that's the case. But also when you go there, I don't know if you've been to Wicklow, but there's no models of ships or holograms of ships next to the billboard. It's just hundreds of billboards now inside
and
of.
the names don't even match. Like, you won't know that it's the ship.
Yeah, it doesn't say Scorpius, Stealth Scorpius, or whatever
Yeah.
it says. You know, Wingy Bird something or whatever. Like you've got to translate whatever it says, right? Which, again, whatever. It's Wicklow. He's trying to be like funny, but that would be okay if there was a model of the ship next to it, or a hologram, or you know, the board wasn't just the text of the recipe. Maybe half the board is a picture of the ship, and then half is the recipe. But right now, it's just the big recipe with some sort of name that you've got to guess what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's happening. And for me, that's been like the main motivator to play the game is UEX, and UEX is all back and forth with Wicklow items. So, yeah, we just closed their store for now and are like, do we stockpile? Do we know when these missions are going to come back? We have no idea. So like our main motivator to play the game is now gone. And like I did some really cool stuff and yes.
I don't know if you've spoken about this, but every patch I'm losing my medals, I'm losing my script, and there are some people
Me too.
that it seems like all the medals and script are getting delivered to those people because, you know, I've seen people that have like 1 million script and I've seen people who have 100 medals and I'm like, wait, are you just getting everyone's medals each patch?
Yeah.
Because so every patch I grind out medals just for fun because I love doing the reds and the oranges. And if I get ace pilots, it's funny because everyone on chat's like, oh, streamer, look how many medals you're getting. And so for me, it's funny anyway. But each patch I log in and all of the medals are gone. And it's like, well, I'm saving them to get a ship. And it took me hours to do this. And I didn't have the pure Karenite or I didn't have whatever else I needed to get it at the time. And now I haven't. So I ended up grinding out for a medical pipe, a medical terrapin, so I could
Uh-huh.
compare it against the Apollo, and because I wanted to test the medical bounties or whatever, and so I just grinded out really quick. I was like, I better hand these in right now before I lose anything.
Yep.
But yeah,
No, I
so
have
Wicklow
consistently
has
lost
its.
medals as well, and script. Same two things. It's been really annoying, and
I'd rather lose ships, to be honest with you. I'd rather
same.
lose a ship that I can just buy with Alpha UC for 5 million or whatever. I'd
Yep.
rather lose a ship
Yeah.
because I can just go
100%.
buy it back for 5 million. But the medals, which took hours and RNG'd and all that stuff, like crazy that
Yep.
we're losing them. So
Yeah, it's really annoying. And yeah, consistent with the start of this patch too. I lost a lot of stuff this time. I didn't lose anything last patch, but I lost a lot of stuff this patch, and it was a bummer. Outside of that, so we did ships, we did Wicklow, we did the event, and we did the snake. Have you tried any of the FPS weapon changes using the custodian? I got clapped with an ASCAV in Ruin today. So like these changes are starting to take effect. I didn't die to it, but he hit me and it insta injured, and like that puts me on the back, on the back foot right away. So it was like, oh, okay. Because he doesn't even have to hit me in the head to do like a significant amount of damage with that gun. So like they have brought that gun into the fold. Custodian's coming back into the fold. And then obviously the Citizen Con weapons that are also at Ruin, which is why I was there, feel less than balanced, I guess. How do you feel about those?
So yeah, Mike, listen, I don't care about anything else. I just bought the best weapons in the game, right? Like I'm not gonna
True.
go and play the game. I'm just gonna buy the game,
Yeah, of
buy the
course.
best weapons and use
This is
those.
Star Citizen.
So I haven't tested other weapon changes, but I have been using like with the worm, I was using the parallax, obviously, like to give that a
Yeah,
go. Using the pulverizer, which is the new
LMG.
heavy, yeah, the new LMG, which is really fun to use. I know that you were like, it's a sniper, and I actually like it is
It's
good.
broken.
It is good. But listen, I'm okay with things being broken for a patch or so, right? Because
Exactly.
I kind of like a bit of a shake up in the meta, like forever, like when 4.0 came out, I was just using an FS9 and I was able to do a whole CZ without even reloading, right? So I'm okay with like the meta moving and shifting. Hey, this gun comes out and it's really powerful, but then they nerf it a couple of weeks later and something else becomes powerful. I'm okay with that. I love in a game where everything is kind of the same, like if all the LMGs were the same, then it's like you're just picking it based on the skin, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm okay with one being cracked for a bit because that's that power fantasy that, when I play Destiny, I play it for the newest weapon because it's cracked and then eventually they nerf it and then everything's the same. And when everything's the same, it feels a little bit boring. So I'm okay with having different metas and changing weapons for a patch. So Elliot, don't or Zach, don't nerf the gun. I love the gun. Give me a
It
couple of weeks with
feels
it. I'm good with that.
it feels awesome because it's so
It
good.
feels so cool, and I think that's the reason. Like
Then get shot
these
with it in
things
Ruin
need
and
to come
tell me
out
how you
broken.
feel.
Like if they released, it's different with different things, right? Because if they released the Stinger and the Stinger was broken, maybe the Stinger flew like a blade and
Uh-huh.
also had the same damage it's got now, there would be so much upset, right? Because it's like you're paying $350, you've got like the best ship in the game. Like it's insane. I'm okay with them taking a bit more of a softly approach with releasing ships because
Yeah.
it kind of avoids that whole pay to win argument. No one's arguing that the Stinger's pay to win. And in fact, most of the ships that just came out are kind of boring. Like even the Shiv, which is really cool. It's
Still
got a lot
just a
of
ship with
firepower.
guns.
Yeah, so for me, I'm okay if ships come out and they're like tempered. But weapons, I'm okay if they release that rocket launcher thing that they showed off. If that comes out and it's freaking overpowered, then great. That's cool. I'm gonna walk around blasting out arrows and having a good time with it. That's fun. But then just bring it in line and then make something else powerful for a bit. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Like that. That's how I get my fun. Like when I pick up that big gun for the first time and shoot it at something and they die. That's epic.
Yeah. I mean, like from a sound, feel, all that, it's fantastic. But then hearing somebody shoot that and bullets fly by you and Ruin, I was just from the first bullet sound, I already was pressing my med pen because I was like, how am I going to survive this? I'm dead in 2 shots. So I got lucky with 1 HP survived a couple volleys
Well,
of
I'm not
somebody with
entirely
bad aim.
sure how. So, like, I actually don't even mind like how powerful. Like, I love it. So to me, it doesn't matter. But you you can carry unlimited ammo in your bag, and
Zach,
these things are massive.
Zach was in
These are
my chat.
massive.
He was like, "Yeah, they're gonna get heavier," and I was like, "Okay, cool."
Like, I just, but also, like, how did that make it alive? Right? Like,
Because they're
the,
rushing, because
just
they have a date and they just go. It's like that was this year, so there's definitely positives, like you said, about having the content all the time. But the only reason you have that content all the time is because they won't make an exception for something small like that, even though that has a big impact on the experience. Yeah, so it's um it's fine. I think for that from that perspective. But again, I think it comes back to what you're saying. It's the communication thing. So Zach is in my chat one day while I'm talking about it, just pure luck. And he's like, yep, yep. The real problem there is like, because we were discussing the ammo. Like, if in real life, 50 cal ammo apparently is very, very heavy. And the amount that, like, this gun would weigh 50 pounds. Just the gun would weigh 50 pounds for the mag size, all that stuff. So it would be really hard to manage recoil and all this stuff, right? And then, so we were talking about mag size, and he was like, "Yeah, you would like we don't want you to be able to carry that much, obviously. So our bad. We'll get to it. But if we had an ISC, if we had an SCL of like, hey, we hear you, and then they're talking to the entire community, not just me, not just you, not just the people in our chat. That's the thing I really hate about this is it's not our fault they're there. Like, we get shit for these kind of things happening as content creators. It's not our fault that they're in our chat. It's Jared, or it's whoever you want to complain about at the company who isn't getting them in there to talk about these subjects for everyone, or it's community team that isn't making a post sharing the general complaints or issues about the current patch on day 2 or something like that. Hey, we went to Zach, we went to Elliot, we went to here, we went to there. Here are your complaints. Here's what they said. There's your post. We spoke to everybody on that. It's 100% a communication thing, and yeah, it's whatever. Like, don't kill the messenger here because they were in our chat at that time, because that happens to me all the time. It's super annoying. And yeah, because yeah,
I
I
just
have
feel
the
like
info and you don't. It's like it's not fair. Everybody should
it could
have that
be.
info.
I think that the ammo could be heavy, right? But imagine it required you to wear the tech armor they just released in
That's
order to
also
even
heavy.
hold the gun up,
Yeah,
in the first place. Maybe if you
that's where
got
they want
medium
to
armor,
go.
you can't even aim down sight, with medium armor, but with heavy armor, you could like hold it up, right?
I
Like
feel
that
like
would
that's where
be
they want to
really
go.
cool. But
Like,
again, this goes back to like me and you are making the assumption that that will happen in the future based on what we think is logical.
yep.
And again, maybe being a bit naive that will happen. But I'd love, some sort of hydraulic armor that meant you could pick up this massive 50 cal LMG. And I felt like the tech armor was like the perfect, opportunity to do that, right? It's tech armor. Maybe it does something different that, maybe you can carry more in your bag. Maybe you can lift more.
Yeah, 100%. 100% is like it is again a result of the choices and priorities from the year. It was like content, 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 and those are like, well, that's our new armor system that we're not currently making right now because content, content, content. So it's like give and take. We can apparently we can only have one or the other, and I want the mission system, or I want the armor system. I want the economy. Those are the things I want. I don't want the content now because I want the basic foundations of the game, like flight model, FPS experience, armor experience, um, mining, salvage, crafting experience to inform our storylines in the game, our content, the worm, the things like that. And yeah, it's currently like
Dude, I was
it's.
so coped up, when we seen the tech armor for the first time, and my chat was calling me coped up as well. I was
I think it's ugly.
because the
You
back
like it?
well, I think it looks kind of cool. It looks like
Okay,
Destiny Titan armor, and the
gotcha.
other armor looked like Hunter armor. And so for me, it's a bit like Destiny esque. But the backpack looked like a bit of a jetpack of some sort. It's got little like
Okay,
vents on the bottom, and I was coped up thinking that when you jump out of a ship in that armor, it does the same thing as a Geo does. You know, when it like falls to the ground and just does a little boost
that's
to stop
copium.
it hitting the ground. I was like, man, imagine they did that. They just like whatever the tech in the Geo, they stuck it in a backpack and then they didn't tell anyone. And then see, when that hit live, that would be so hype.
I
But
think
again, all
that's
these
cope.
armors are just oh yeah, yeah, no, well, it was, right? But all these armors don't really do anything, besides, limit your movement speed a little bit or whatever.
Yeah, but you might be right in the sense of that might be one heavy armor that does have uh flying in space. Why is that
EVA?
EVA, like, yeah, just totally lost it. That might actually have EVA capabilities because, like, what we saw at CitizenCon was some armors will, some armors won't have EVA capabilities. So you're not like completely coping, but it being a Geo maybe is pretty cope. But yeah, so I think that's yeah, like every time a patch comes out for me, it's I do the I'm excited, I enjoy the content for a couple days, and then I'm kind of like, all right, what's next? And I know why that I feel that way. It's because I don't have that day to day
Well, that's the
grind
stuff we're
draw.
missing, right?
Yeah,
We're
we
literally
can
missing all the
grind.
player stuff.
We can grind things, like you said. You do the Ace Interceptor helmets, like those are grinds I want to do, but I don't want to do them for essentially a ship skin on a spaceship. It's like I don't know. So that's where like every patch that comes out, same with 4.3.2, is like, all right, I have done the first week's content. I have done the snake. I'm done. And like when I woke up this morning, I was like, am I going to play? What am I going to do? And I was like, I
But you know
don't
what?
have that
I feel
ooh
like we're
exciting
missing.
draw.
Sorry, by the way, if I talk over you, I'm sorry because I'm a little bit delayed from what I'm seeing. But
All good.
I feel like we're missing, and I don't know why we're missing it, right? Because we're missing all the features, but we're missing the things that give you reasons to play in between the content. So the new content comes out, you do the worm for a couple of days, you grind out getting the eyes or whatever, and then you go back to bounty hunting, or you go back to trading, or you go back
Yep.
to mining, and all of these, like a lot of these systems, just don't. They're not really there yet, and the bounty hunting is not really like it's horrible. And
It's
then
horrible.
dude, I was so excited for medical. I was so excited for medical. I know you don't really care that much about medical beacons or the systems, but to me, if they'd put global notifications in, maybe you had to opt into a mission, right? Like on duty, like the call to arms, you get the call to arms, and then you just have it for the whole session, right? If you could log in, like I'm on duty, you accept that, and then every time someone goes down and they send a medical beacon, you are the one who gets an alert on your screen, like a notification. There's no notifications, so even though the medical bounties are working, no one gets them because you have to go in and just get lucky, checking the contracts that there's a medical service
mm,
beacon active. And if you don't check, then it's gone. And it is working, by the way, but no one's checking because you
yeah.
have to check every second to see if it's there. And again, these are the systems that we would be playing, like just player interaction stuff, helping other players, bounty hunting other players, trading with other players. These are the things you do between content. Content is not enough on its own.
Ever.
Maybe it is this year, but
It is this year because we're used to having nothing for
yes, yeah.
months on
Before it was
end.
like 6 months between a patch, right?
Yeah.
Or it was like 4 months, and then they added Orison, and you're like, yeah, I'll run to check Orison out, and then it's like, oh, there's nothing else to do, and then you
Yep.
wait another 4 months, and but now it feels
Exactly.
like there's reasons to kind of play, maybe not daily, but for me, I find things to do every day. But it's the stuff with the play, like my one of my favorite things to do for the last couple of months has been Hathor, but that is really the only PvP spot in the game that, people are going there to try and get pure Karenite. Usually that kicks off, other people coming to stop them. And then
Yep.
you can get into, some big capital ship fights or whatever. That's been the main PvP spot up until Dupree. And then, now we got a little bit of a fight at Dupree happening. But these are the things that we haven't been getting. We haven't got the next Hathor or the next PvP censored thing. So you're gonna just end up with all the PvP players are really frustrated, and now they're just like killing rafts for fun, and whilst we've been getting lots of content, we've not been getting lots of group content, lots of fun team playing stuff. So
I think that's why CitizenCon, they really tried to highlight that that last mission was like, we are trying to give you this, like, these are our goals. And I was excited. Like, I watched it right before this podcast, and it's like, yes, that's cool, but I think I really like want them to focus on the what do we do between the content stuff. I really, really,
but
really
that's the
want to
stuff
see
that
that.
we literally didn't get anything on again. And my main concern about next year is that we're still not going to get,
No,
like, I would have
it's
taken
this year again.
10 minutes, but it's been a good year, but a little bit of progress on I would have taken, instead of showing Nyx, which is coming out next month, just do an Inside Star Citizen on
Yep.
next week or whatever on Nyx. Don't show me all the content. I actually would rather them have shown no content and maybe spent 10 minutes with every team, giving me a little sit down.
What are you
Hey,
doing in
we showed you
Nyx?
base.
Yeah.
Well, so for me, it's like, if base building, my main concern is that base building hasn't progressed beyond what we seen last year. Because otherwise, just give me 10 minutes with the base building guy to hear in what ways it's
Ah,
progressed. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean? If you're not going to
yeah.
show me, is that because nothing's happened? Or is it because, they're not, maybe it's soon, so they don't want to spoil it. Do you know, like, but just give me 10 minutes with the base building guy, 10 minutes with the crafting guy, 10 minutes with the armor guy. Give me 10 minutes with everyone instead of a big showy citizen con. I would take 10 minutes for an hour. Just give me 10 minutes with everyone.
Yeah.
And
I did not enjoy
that
our
would have been
10
better.
minutes with the crafting guys. That's sick on this. I was like, oh man, it's dumbed down. Or not dumbed down, but it's like, okay, we took the year and we did not focus that much on it because we were doing all these other things. So now when we do this playtest, we're going to keep it small, which is a good thing. Again, going back to it's an alpha stuff. That's great. Do it. Get some feedback. Go back to the drawing board if you need to. Act on some feedback. It's the right decision. But damn, I waited a year and I get not what I was hoping to get. So I'm like, ooh, that's a tough
So
one.
all of the stuff they showed me is all the stuff I've loved about this year. All of the stuff they showed me is like epic. Are we going to get half-hour in space with the
Oh
rock
yeah.
breaker missions? Are we going to get dungeons underneath Levski? Awesome. That's epic. Like, I love all the stuff they showed me. That's what my jam is. I love doing the content.
Yeah.
But don't show me any of it. I actually like, just put it in the game. Maybe a trailer on, Rock Breaker or whatever it's called, right? A month before it's out, and then let me go and figure out the mechanics and figure, like, all that stuff they showed me. I was like, I messaged you, Mike, whilst you were live,
Yep.
and I just messaged you saying, "Fuck,"
Yeah.
because I knew that you were not going to be happy with a lot of the stuff you were seeing. But for me, I was like really happy, but I just rather not have seen it. So it's like such a strange.
I mean, I
situation
love the
for me.
rock breaker thing. I think the instancing stuff was great, and the like, if implemented well, I think Nyx looks awesome. The biggest thing they said was there's going to be a lot of mining content here, and it's like, okay, cool. Talk to me about why, because again, mining is I mined in pretty much every game I've ever played, every MMO I've ever played. It's the first thing that I do. And this is the most engaging mining content there is out of any game I've played MMO wise, because you're very active. Most of them are you click E and you wait till the rock is mined and it just automatically goes in your backpack. And it's like Netflix content. Mining in Star Citizen, not really Netflix content. You got to be pretty much paying attention, right? And I like that. It makes it a bit of a challenge. And it's nice. The issue is like we saw no economy people. We saw nothing of like, why am I mining in Nyx and not in Pyro? Why am I mining in Pyro and not in Stanton? Why am I mining in Stanton and not in those other places? And what do we do with the stuff when we're done? And it's like all these changes that those are great opportunities for SCLs and ISCs in the coming year, I hope. And if they hold back on some of that stuff and they actually talk about it, I'd be happy. Like I want to know your intentions, and like you said, I don't want to know the mechanics of the actual raid. Like what? Like you mentioned Destiny multiple times. I played Destiny 2 on launch and then never really played it again. Um, I'm assuming they don't spoil their raids.
No,
Yeah.
exact. So, like, it would have been epic if they got on, and they did talk a bit about instancing, which I think is going to be a good thing for PvP and PvE
Mhm.
content going forward. But to me, that last thing that they showed us could have been a trailer, and it could have been a bit of a why we are doing it like this. Instancing gameplay allows us to do a raid in space with capital ships. Say less. Like, you don't need to say anything else to me. Like, I
Yeah.
get it. We don't have to do a dungeon on the ground with an FPS weapon, but maybe there's a reason, you have to get out your ship to do something. But we're in our capital ships. We're fixing our capital ships. That looks epic. But don't tell me that there's a massive cannon that if you fly too close to is going to destroy your capital ship.
Let it
Let me get
happen.
my capital let me get
Yeah.
my capital ship destroyed, so then I'm like, right, move the fleet away from the star destroyer there, and we'll figure out another way to kill those weapons. Oh no, they've got a shield. Okay, we need to take care of the shield. And then that's how a raid or a dungeon goes. I don't really understand and I know that they said, because obviously people were spamming in chat, you're spoiling it or you're telling us how to do it. I'm sure they can make tweaks to the engagement so it doesn't go exactly how they've said there.
Yeah.
But to me, that just doesn't make any sense. And like, I guess that's another thing with the logic. And like, I just assumed they would know not to give away kind of like the step by step of like how to complete
It
this
was
encounter.
wild. How does Destiny promote their next raid
They don't.
typically?
They don't. You see a trailer for it, usually a day before, and literally it's like 5 seconds, maybe
Okay.
showing the entrance to the dungeon or the trailer to the raid. Like they literally don't even show anything. And sometimes they show a trailer, like a 30-second trailer, but
Mhm.
it's like a close up of someone's feet, showing the environment that they're running through.
Yeah.
It doesn't show the bosses, and it doesn't show the weapons needed to
Mechanics.
do it. It doesn't show the mechanics. Like, and I'm not even because maybe this just isn't a raid, and maybe this is something different. But they talk like the bit where you fly in to destroy the thing. We should have been figuring that out. Like, but now on day one, I'm going to know not to take the Idris next to the turret.
Yeah.
I'm going to know that we need to take out the shield for the turret. I know that we're going to need to fly inside and do it. And now it's weird, but you should have been learning that like through the progression, losing your whole team to the turrets and then going, right,
Yep.
we need to reassemble and go again.
Yeah.
To me, like I'm sure CIG will have some logic for like why they did that, or maybe it's not what we're saying. Maybe none of that is even. But then it doesn't make. I don't know, Mike. I'm confused about the
Yeah,
whole thing.
yeah, and I think to like sort of bring it back to 4.3 a little bit, or 4.3.2, is one thing that they didn't do, which is big positive. They didn't spoil anything about the snake.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I did not know about parallax rifle in the mouth until I watched the and the guy who did the solo, man, he he's a good player because I've fought against him in Arena Commander for years. He is super solid. He's a guy I've like just been shit on by him in AC for so long, and like just such a worthy competitor, and like deserves to have it done first. I had no idea that you shoot the worm in the mouth with the electronic thing, or with the lightning, and then that actually shocks him as well. It wasn't just the boxes, because I saw him do it.
So can we just speak a little bit on the worm for a second?
Yeah.
And I know that I mentioned Destiny a handful of times. I promise I won't turn this into like when Mike always goes on about Eve, right?
I
Um,
think it's healthy though. Good games are good games for reasons. So feel
Well,
free. I
so
don't mind it.
for me, the Destiny comparison is with the dungeons and raids. I love doing hard content, and I think this is like, obviously in some aspects of the community, I'm one of the biggest bobs because I spend a lot of time doing like the PVE
Yep.
content. But I also like getting in fights. I also like killing other players. I also like pirating. I like doing everything that Star Citizen, will have the potential of offering in the future. Now, for me, I love, close the dungeon off. I did 8 hours on the Worm solo. 8 hours on the Worm solo, Mike. It was the most fun I've ever had in this game. It was the most viewers I ever had. Like everyone was watching. Everyone wanted to see, if it could be done. Because for a Bob community like Star Citizen, right? Like they don't want to interact with other players. They just want to go there and get the eyes. And if there's a way to solo it, which means they don't
They
have to
want to
interact
know.
with other players.
Yeah.
Some players will want to do that. So for me, yeah, and I like the challenge. Like in Destiny, doing a dungeon solo, massive achievement. But where it compares to Star Citizen is that in Destiny, the game works. So when you I know that by the time I touch the floor, I'm gonna have reloaded, I'm gonna heal, I'm gonna go to this mechanic here, I'm gonna slide behind that rock. I know that my timing makes a difference, and I'm gonna hide behind the rock. But in Star Citizen, because I watched that guy's solo video, right? And I was like, yeah, it looks like a piece of piss. Like, it's gonna be easy. It's gonna be fun. But on the server he was playing on, he had 11 FPS from that worm. Like,
Yep.
I was playing on a server that had 30 FPS. Let me tell you, the worms were cracked, Mike. And I wasn't
Yeah.
looking to cheese it because I could kill the worm, the first worm. I just railgunned him and he died instantly. So for the challenge was that I was going to kill the first worm enough to summon the second worm, get rid of the first worm as fast as possible to then just be left with the second worm and then be
Yeah.
able to kill the second worm. Now, obviously you've got the look, so the worm might come out of this pool that you're standing next to, but I didn't cheese it. I wasn't hiding at the back using a sniper. I was playing it kind of how you would if you had a group, behind the rocks, making sure to peek at the right time. But sometimes when you go to use your med gun, it doesn't work, and you have to spam B a couple of times, and then it
And then
eventually
you drop your
works.
weapon.
And then you throw your weapon across the arena, and sometimes you're behind a rock, but his lightning will still hit you because it's desynced. It thinks you're outside of the rock. And let me tell you, when you're on a 30 FPS server, these worms do not mess around. They can absolutely, like, I watched the solo video. He's just standing there shooting the worm. The worm is lasering him, and then eventually he stuns it, and then he's fine. Dude, the worm hit me once. I'd be like tier 2'd out my mind. Like,
Yeah.
the worms were crazy, but and I know a lot of this has been. I need to try and balance your saltiness with like a bit more positivity, and I think that's a Croncy would bring a bit more of the positive energy. I think I love Star Citizen, and I've had the best year ever, and I love this encounter, but it's like the fundamental, like the basics, just simply are not there. Like when I reload, it should reload. When I
Yeah.
heal, it should heal, and
That was what this year was supposed to be about. That was what this
and
year
it's
was
like
supposed to be about. I
that stuff
thought
I've seen no improvement.
no, and I really thought that that's what, like, if I was going to pick something out that they would have definitely dealt with, I thought it would have been that. That elevators obviously, and they handled that stuff. Stability, they handled that, right? Cool. Great, thank you. The next thing would have been missions, mission markers, and your experience of swapping weapons.
Well,
Period.
so I think that it's amazing to get like raid like encounters into the game. Like I love it, and it does
Yeah.
provide that big event that brings the community online. We all team up and we all try and figure it out and get it done, and it's amazing. But when the basics don't work, it's like it it's really hard to justify spending the time putting in a dungeon if you can't equip a weapon or you can't swap a weapon. Um,
100%.
and
Like,
that to me is kind of where the just a position, like what's breaking the weapons and fixing your like why does the med gun not work, Mike, when you press B and it doesn't heal you and you have to press B again and then press B again? Why does that happen?
I don't know. I hate it. I have no idea. No explanation as to why. No talks about it. Like, again, going back to communication, nothing. But I love Zach, one of my favorite people that work there by far. Communicates, cares. I know he gives a shit. If this is one of his things that's on him, I'd love to hear more about where we are now and where we're going, and are you prioritizing this stuff? Because that, when I heard at CitizenCon like what the next year of plans were, and that none of this shit was there, I'm very concerned for the next year that it's going to be a lot of exactly what you said. Lots of cool shit added to the game, but if I can't reload my gun while doing it, it's like, what are we doing here, right? It's like overall, I agree. Great year, had a lot of fun. I put in more hours this year than I've put in any year ever playing this game, and there's a reason for it. But
Mhm.
because of that, it shows a lot of the cracks in the foundations of what they've started building. And
Yep, I agree.
that's a problem.
Well, so Something really great about instancing and something like this worm encounter. I keep saying worm because I know it winds people up, but something like this worm encounter being instanced, they would be able to do something that happens in Destiny, right? A Destiny raid is a 6-player activity, a dungeon is a 3-player activity, and when a team does it for the first time, that's a world's first race, right? They did 6
Yep.
players, figured out the mechanics and got it done. Same with a dungeon. Here, the first time we did the worm, I took like 8 people or whatever, like to do the worm. Like, is that a world's first? Probably. Like, you can't. I mean, if I want to do world's first, I'll just take 20 people and do the worm really quickly. Like the worm where
Yeah.
it'll come out of its thing, I'll kill it, and then it's done. And I think instancing will allow for some really fun, like with this. Hey, your party's only got 3 people in it. Then you can go into the instance and fight the boss.
Yeah.
Or if you're on your own, you can go and fight the boss, but no more than 3. Because then you've got, hey, I soloed the worm actually means something, right? And then, we did it world's first with just 3 of us, and we figured it out on the day. Epic. Instancing is going to allow for a lot more like fun PvE stuff and also PvP stuff.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. And it's yeah, it'll just be better. So I look forward to the next year from that standpoint for sure. Is the content that we do get might be more interesting if they don't spoil it all. So
hell yeah.
hopefully they learned a lesson from CitizenCon, and I'm sure there'll be more than just the the end of CitizenCon thing, what strike groups, and the beginning, which was just a basic bunker mission, it seemed like. So I'm sure there'll be a little bit more or a lot more in relation to a story that they want to tell and other boss types. Like who would have expected Hathor plus the snake plus the worm this year, right? So I expect similar for next year as far as what we're fighting. Yeah, Rockcracker, they kind of spoiled, not entirely. So maybe they can put a few extra wrinkles in there, and then yeah, it actually matters. I don't think Rockcracker should be instanced, to be clear, just since
No,
we're
no,
on
no.
the instancing
I think that
conversation. But
Rockcracker should be like Hathor, right? Which is
yeah,
out there in the universe. You go there with one person, maybe you can do it. But if you go there with 10 people, then you're gonna have a better time
yeah,
and be able to do it. And then that to me allows them to then do instanced raids or dungeons. It's
yeah,
like we have to find a balance, which is and I think the Rockcracker, that and Hathor are like perfect. What
a
perfect
mix.
encapsulate the so for me, you've got your PvE guys who are like miners, right? And cargo haulers
Yep.
and then you've got your PvP sweats who will be above you, protecting you. To me, that's what this game is. To me, that game is finding what people like to do and then giving them content that allows you to like mix it all together. And
Yeah,
Hathor is like that. It looks like this Rock Breaker event will be like that. And then if it's PvE raid as well with the other thing, amazing.
I
Amazing, because then everyone can just hone their skills, you know?
I feel like while people were still figuring out all the Wicklow like that world first Wicklow Polaris that we were part of, I still feel very proud of that because the logistics of making that work was insane. Of like getting on a server that works, finding a hole that's being run, and then all right, well we have lots of Karenite now, but we don't have any of the other stuff. Who's going to do that? And it was like, well, I guess our group's going to do that. So we were mining like crazy, paying an insane amount of money for Quantanium to our org mates, so to motivate them to want to mine it. And yeah,
I had a similar experience,
it was
only
wild.
I outsourced any of the stuff I didn't wanna do. So,
Yeah,
we
I
did
mean,
all of the PvP stuff, and then I got, like, a PvP org that needed us to help get them, like, executive ships. So, we exchanged executive ships for Quantanium, and it was, like, a really cool thing because like, the
yep.
PvE guys got what they wanted, they got some cool ships from the execs, and we were able to defend them, and, yeah, it was, like, really
That
fun.
was like us with
That's
Shadow
yeah.
Moses. They didn't want to do the mining, so they
Of
just
course.
wanted to get the good fights. So it was like we filled in that role of what they didn't want to do, and then we got to be a part of something special. So it was something that made me really happy, and that was awesome. And yeah, more of that would be great. And I think the way we get that with smaller content or smaller groups is with instancing, exactly like you said. Because if you could just go in there and cheese with 30 people, it's not that great. That's how we did the snake early. It was we just had too many people and it was too early. It was too easy, and it got boring. And it was like,
Yeah.
but then when people started dwindling down and it got more challenging, then all of a sudden it was a bit more fun. All right, last thing before we go to callers, have you found a piece of armor, Palatino armor yet? I
No.
haven't. Me neither.
I
I gave
used
up.
Mr. Kraken's guide. I went to the place he said it would be, but it wasn't there.
No,
So
I give up. I think that they're just gonna have to make a change to that one and have it spawn more or more places or something. I know they want people to go to distro centers. I don't think this and Dupree are the way to do it. Uh, like bugs and issues and stupid things like this. So I get
I
it.
feel like
But
I feel like because apparently it was a dev told someone where it was,
yeah,
so
and it
then they were able to
streamed
like
or Mr.
go,
Kraken or something. They were begging, is what he
and it's
said.
like realistically, just leave us. If no one finds it, then someone can make a guide when they find it organically, right? And that's epic. That's like,
Yeah.
oh, this really rare thing that you're all looking for. I found it in a box here. Let's go and get it. I don't like devs shouldn't be telling us anything really. Now, the only exception to this is when we are trying to, do you remember when I was trying to do the Hyperion thing and it wasn't working for me? But I had a couple of devs being like, we think you're doing it
Oh,
wrong.
the
And
the
I
fuel cell, right? When you and I were doing the
fuel
fuel cell
cells.
at the same time, and they kept saying nobody's done it right yet.
Yeah,
That's
but I was
that.
doing it right. I
Yeah.
was doing it right. It just wasn't working. And then I like in that instance, I think the devs should be like, yeah, maybe this is broken, or whatever.
Saying it's
Because
bugged is different than telling you how to find something.
yeah, instead of
Yeah.
being like, "Oh, guys, you're doing it wrong. Put the battery in that hole there," and like, don't tell us the things. But if you can see that we're wasting an hour doing it on stream when we're testing the game for
Yeah.
you, PTU is fun because you get to try and figure it out without anyone knowing how to do it, right? But then, if it's bugged, like Half-Or, I spent hours doing Half-Or and it was broken and I didn't know and no one told us. And it was like, that's where we need a bit of a heads up, if it's we're doing it right, but it's broken. Um, but the armor thing, just to go back to what you were saying, is that it's I think it's okay to have randomized boxes, but those sites are massive, and there's so many places that the boxes spawn
Yeah.
that really it could take like 40 minutes to do a whole loop of the looking in every hole. Whereas the Onyx boxes, the orange boxes in Onyx, they probably could have been RNG'd, like they move slightly each time because it's not that big. So, it wouldn't take you that long to scour the facility to find them each time. Whereas these outside areas are massive. And if you park over one side and try to walk to the other, it
Also,
takes forever.
I'm sorry, but like, in what world in 2025 is a AAA company calling running around and looking through loot boxes fucking content? Like, I can't with that. Like, that's something I really struggle with. Like, in 1990, I'm playing video games where like you kill the boss and then the crate spawns that the loot is in or something,
I
right?
just
Like,
why wasn't it just the boss armor of the distro center? Like one of the missions you go in and you
yeah,
kill the guys in the end, the last room. Just make it a chance that he spawns with that armor similar to the contested zones one.
yeah.
And then that dude, I will run that shit all day long. If the boss has a 10% chance of spawning with it, I will grind out distro center fights all day long to see if we could get that armor set.
100%. It's just weird that like running around and opening a loot container with number one the worst inventory system of all time. Like that being a content is just very weird to me that people are accepting this as like a thing. And I have not heard many people talk about this. Like the ASD armor runs. I heard no one complain that that was like a thing. And to me, I'm just thinking, I'm like, this is unacceptable for like for a company that speaks about themselves as quadruple A game developers and stuff. Which, by the way, this company has. In case you didn't know, it wasn't just Ubisoft that said this. We did it many years before Ubisoft, and the like that kind of thing is um I when it goes back to what I said to you before is if you don't call it out as an issue or like unacceptable, they'll just keep doing it. And guess what they did? They were like, "We'll just hey, it'll take us 5 minutes, put this shit in a box, throw it at the distro centers, done. We don't have to make anything interesting. We don't have to put depth. We don't have to do good cuz they'll
So
just lap this shit up." And that's what people are doing.
the worm encounter, right?
Uh-huh. Wait, worm or
There's a
snake?
door.
Because we keep
The
saying worm
snake.
for both. Snake. Okay.
Sorry.
I do it too. I do it too.
The snake encounter, there's a door that when you kill the snake, the door opens and then you can extract there, right?
Uh-huh.
There should have been a box in that room, or maybe a couple of boxes, right? Like 3 boxes that might spawn with a helmet, a chest, and an arms. And then when you go in with your mates, it's like, well, I got the helmet last time.
Yep.
Let me get the helmet. Let me get the core this time, or whatever, right? The new armor that they're selling on the website with the bones, why isn't that the snake bones or whatever, right? Why isn't that like, let me kill the boss here, and then we'll go, and there'll be some chests in this room. And if you don't kill the snake, the door doesn't open, so you can't get the loot. And
Exactly.
that's when you
It's like
do
this is
a raid boss in
1990s
Destiny.
stuff.
Yeah, when you do a boss in Destiny, it spawns the box where you just killed him, and you can open it up, and maybe it's a weapon you've got already, maybe it isn't. But then you go, I'm gonna do it again, and then you've got to kill the boss 5 times to get all the bits of armor and maybe a special weapon chance. And like it can be inspired by the boss. It could be the gun has the head of the snake on it. Do you know what I mean? It's
Scooter,
like
but we're talking about this like it's like unique and new. And like they may not know. And it's I don't know. I don't know. Or is it just straight up like a time thing and they just don't give us enough time to do that? So I don't know what it is, but it's just I
well,
should
I
not be
feel
running around Dupree looking for orange boxes. Like just
I
no.
feel
There's
like
so many
it's
better ways to do this.
part of me wants to say that it's a feature, like kill the boss to spawn a box. Is maybe that's a feature that doesn't exist yet, and that's the reason we haven't got it. But it literally only has to be as simple as when the boss dies and the door opens, just stick some loot boxes in there, and you
Yeah.
already have that. Like the loot boxes are just make them randomized chance, right? And then when I kill the thing, maybe I get the pulverizer LMG with the bones, and it looks kind of like the snake that I just killed. Man, I would do that 10 times to get all the different boxes.
Bro,
If I get a duplicate, I can sell it.
it could be something as ridiculous as a toy gun that when I click the button to shoot it, the little snake tongue comes out. Like you could do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It's just the mechanics of the way they're having us play the game right now are so
It's all Wicklow as well. So the
yeah.
newest armor that you can get to get the main thing, instead of this content patch being like, I need to kill the worm a shitload of times to get the worm armor, right?
Yep.
It's I need to kill this worm to then go to Wicklow and then trade him another armor set that I need to find somewhere else that has nothing to do with the eyes and the tongue that I just got from the snake. Wicklow is randomly asking me for this armor that you get from the distro centers. Like, why is I should all just be in that loop of doing the worm or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's weird. I think it's just straight up like we want to sell this armor, so you need to put it in game somewhere, and there wasn't enough time to do it, and there you go. Like I think I don't think it's super complicated. I think it's just, hey, this is our armor sale for this month. So put it in game so people can find it, and you throw it in Wicklow as well. And hey, we're prepping for sick. All this specific patch feels more rushed than some of the others for the year. I think probably the most rushed one, maybe Hathor, even though it's because at the end it felt rushed. They spent a lot of time in PTU, but it just didn't work. And they were like, fuck it, we got to go live and find the issues there. But yeah, this specific thing, I was like, I think they probably would have done something differently if they had more time instead of
but
assuming
but
that they're
but we just
stupid and
had
don't
it.
know.
We just had it with the ASD facilities
Which,
dropping in general, right? What was
which
the
is why
best?
they were happy with doing it because nobody complained.
Yeah, potentially, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for me, the best thing that came from the ASD facilities was the new ASD armor. And the rarest one of that was the white armor. So when you were walking through a station and you seen a guy wearing that armor, you're thinking, damn, how did you get that? Think, what boss did you have to kill to get that armor? That's a rare looking set of armor. I want to get that armor. What did you do to get it? That is usually the draw in most MMOs, is that, oh, I took the head off the boss solo and now I'm wearing it around the station. And then now if you want it, you got to do it. Or, okay, well, I'll just buy it because I don't think I'm going to be able to, or I'll go try it until I do get it, right? In when the ASD facilities dropped, to get the best looking armor in the game at the time, like new hype armor, it was just keep searching for boxes to get the black armor, then
I
take that to
refuse to do it.
Wicklow and he'll give you and he'll give you the white armor.
I refuse to do it. I'll
So when
like
you seen someone, it was rare, but it was rare because no one wants to give him the black set of armor that took forever to get.
yeah, and I refuse to even look for the black armor because it was just that is not for me. But if the armor dropped on the NPCs, brother, I would have been my live streams would have doubled in length because I know it is barely different than going to a loot box, but in my mind it is night and day. And then but then again, the examples that we give of like finishing a boss and then the loot crate opening, or whatever, the loot room like we have in Ruin, which is I was like, yes, this is awesome. Um, that's I think the best way to do it. But I love the idea of rare drops on NPCs, like rare weapons, rare like the scorched stuff. I love that. I'm here for it, big time, big
And they
time.
already have the systems in place. All the stuff you just described can be tweaked
Yep,
to work for the newest worm encounter. Do you know what I
yep,
mean? It's like all
100%.
that stuff you just said, like when the worm dies, it's got a key card jammed in its throat. You pull it out, and then that gets you into a loot box that has a random. Do you know what I mean? And then that's basically a contested zone key printer where you
Done.
kill the worm, grab the key out of its mouth that it's because it ate a scientist that had the card on him. Do you know what I mean? Who cares how it
Yep.
got there? But it ate a scientist, and now it's got the key. You get the key, and you get the armor.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm surprised they didn't sell the ASD armor on the website, by the way, because I mean, imagine some sick
They
ASD
did.
cloaked version of the armor. They didn't sell the cloaked version.
They
Sold
sold
the one that
the flowers
the
on it,
one without
right?
the cloak. Yeah, yeah, the
Yeah.
flowered
Oh,
one.
you mean with the
But
cloak? Yeah. True.
the cloak one was more badass, and that's what you could only
True.
get it by looting the boxes.
Yeah.
Whereas, hey, if you could buy it, they might have actually made a lot of money off that.
Perhaps. Or did people only look for that armor because it was rare? I don't know what everyone's motivations are. Mine are strictly rarity. Those are my motivations. I love that. Rares and MMOs, that is my end game. End of
Yeah,
story.
agreed.
That's my end game.
Same.
Having everything possible and displaying it in my display cases or whatever, however it will be in this game versus others, that is my end game. Big time. So I'm yearning for that. That can't exist in an alpha. It sort of
Well,
does.
so I
Because the
think
items
that
we get now are going to be mega rare if this game ever comes out.
so I know that you probably want to start taking callers,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
one last thing on that is because that's the thing that drives me the most with games is imagine for a second, if you will, chat,
Of course.
is that I take my friends to my base that I built on a planet, right? And there's a room of all my favorite armors, and they're going, "Where did you get that?" And it's like,
Yep.
let me tell you a story how I got this, right? I managed to get this off a boss that I killed in Onyx when it was, when it was the hardest thing to do in the game. It was the brand new thing to do in the game. Maybe people they figured it out now, but I got it first, or I got it in that first week when it was hard to do. And then we look at this next set of armor. And here it's because I helped Hurston get all their cargo.
That's my
And
Vandal
there's a
mask.
story behind the Vandal mask, yeah, which everyone's got now, but you would have it on maybe a little mannequin, and it's like, where did you get that? And it's like, let me tell you, I killed a lot of people to get this
50
mask.
individual people. Yeah.
I
And
had to kill a lot of people, but it's
that's the first time I ever played with Virgil. He like took me under his took me under his wing and taught me the meta ship at the time, which was a Gladius with a distortion cannon in the center and two ballistics on the sides. I can't remember. And it was like, you were starting to shut them down a little bit with the one distortion cannon. And so in the DPS race, you were faster than them with that loadout. So I was losing all my fights, and then I wasn't losing all my fights. And it was like, hell yeah. And then I learned, and I started getting like knocking down my 50. And I was doing a count and everything. It was fantastic. That,
Yeah,
obviously is a little bit ruined by the additional masks being added, but I still have that first mask. I still have that story. I'll never forget that. So it doesn't really matter. I don't care necessarily how many people cheesed it. I do still have my story. I wish they didn't. My story would mean a lot more if that was something that was very difficult to get and not everyone got. But unfortunately, there was issues with that one. But in the end,
I think there's
I
still
want more of that.
time.
There's so
I
much
think there's
more
still
time.
time to do what me and you are really passionate about here. I think there's still time to do that. By the time it gets to 1.0 and they reset everything, right? Day one, the
Yeah.
the PU opens up, everyone runs through. You know, the Onyx facilities are all locked right now. We haven't got to the part of our little story where they've even given us an Onyx mission yet. But then maybe by the time that goes to live and it's 1.0, when we kill the boss, we end up getting the reward the way that you're saying, and then that's how it plays out. For now, it kind of all comes back to like, hey, it's alpha. Maybe they're just
But that's
stretching the
why I
muscles.
complain. People
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I complain because I do it for views or whatever. It's because on day one, I want it to be better than what it is now. And if you don't say anything, you end up opening orange boxes all day. And if you don't say it, that's what it's going to be. So like I agree with you. The it's an alpha thing has its merits, but not for content. Not for the experiences you're having. And
Especially if they want us to play this like a game, right? Which is, I think,
correct.
what they want. They want us to play it. They want new players to come and play it with us. And when, dude, I don't know, like when I'm showing the worm off on stream and new players are like, holy shit, what is this game? I'm like, calm down a second. This looks amazing.
Yeah,
But if
but
I
it
tell you what the reward is, you'll be like, oh, like, because it's not a finished experience. Like
yeah,
it's amazing. And the team absolutely smashed it out of the park. I think it's some of the best stuff they've ever done with the Onyx facilities, apart from the anticlimactic thing, in the last one, but we're,
yeah.
we're playing it as they develop it. So there is a certain element of that, but bro, when we're seeing this new stuff, they're really cooking. They're really cooking. And I think the team have absolutely smashed it out of the park in a lot of ways this year. And I think some slight tweaks, like, is it a big tweak to add a loot box to that room?
Hopefully not.
Let's do it. Let's
Yeah,
do it. And then we're there, right? We're getting
yeah.
to. So yeah.
100%. 100%. All right, let's get to callers. We don't have too many, so it shouldn't be too bad. We got 3, and we'll leave it at that 3 because hey, first time talking to Spooner on the podcast, so we went a little bit longer with a guest host. That's pretty normal here for people that know the show. So let's bring in our first caller, and it is a regular Shark Bite. Shark Bite, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. How you doing?
Good. What do you want to
Hey,
talk
Sean.
about?
Okay, so I actually did take some notes this time.
Uh
First of all, I only have a few. So I guess the biggest bug that I've encountered since the patch started out was just the inventory issues. Even today, which has been better than the first, like when I got on. It's been like either my inventory is not showing up, or if it does show up, then like transfers will undo themselves, essentially inventory rubber banding. Um, Pulled out a bunch of scopes to give someone, couldn't see them in my backpack, but it was taking up space. Flew up to Seraphim, went to go grab a box, and my backpack was empty when I got up there.
Yep. There's another thing we didn't mention. You can't commodity trade right now.
Yeah. Yeah, there were people complaining about that. Someone asked, so what is working this patch? And I said, bunker turrets. They're working great. Can't target them with medium fighter until you get to like 1.5k, so you're already taking heavy damage. But yep.
I think with everything in this game, though, it honestly, you've got to asterisk it with on the server I was on at the time, because I've seen Mike fly down to a
True.
distro center and get no shots on him. I flew down to a distro center, got no shots, but then I got back in my ship and it was like red. I was like, what the heck's happening? Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot like server
Yeah.
dependent in this game. And like you said with the inventory, I've not had that error, like where your box bag is empty. But I remember when Half-Life first came out, I went up to the station, grabbed the card, and me and Astro Manny were having a bit of a competition, see who could do it first. I got down to the bunker, put the card, and it wasn't in my backpack, and I was like,
Oh.
I was like, shit. And then Manny came in 10 minutes later and went, oh yeah, we just did it. And I was like, what?
Yeah, because I
but yeah, it
should
was
have
like,
done it.
Sucks.
yeah, we should have won, but we never. But anyway, it's just, yeah, sorry, the backpack thing.
Just edit and post. Now, the let's see. Oh, when you guys were talking about the Stinger, the issue that I have, aside from, yeah, they definitely, that's one of the few new ships that's come out that like they actually need to buff.
Yeah.
Um,
The people who
but
say that all new ships come out, badass, Here's
Yeah, no,
another
some of them just
example
come out
of
bad.
yeah, some of them just come out not very good, and this is one of those.
Yeah, and like as you guys, or as at least Mike knows, like I'm a huge Vandal fan. I love the Vandal ships, and I made the mask. Went over really well at SitCon, um, and yeah, it's just really frustrating that the ship comes out and it's underwhelming at best, and then even worse, they're not going to give us our reworks, and they actually confirmed that in the Q&A until
After Squadron,
hopefully
right?
2026. Yeah, when Squadron
Yeah,
comes out. Yeah, they said after Squadron. They didn't even say like when it releases, so we don't know.
Man,
yeah.
that would have been so cool to get the blade rework because
Yeah,
seeing the cockpit view of the Stinger, and now I'm getting in the blade, which feels a bit dated. It's got the big bars
yep.
down the middle, and I'm
I have
like,
a glaive. Yeah,
I have a
man, the blade
feeling.
is my favorite ship. And
So,
yeah,
so the thing is, the CIG always changes their mind. I have a feeling that if like feedback is like high enough on those kind of ships that they might do it.
I've
Because
tried. I put it
yeah, but you're one
in my
guy.
post on us. I know.
You're one
I
guy,
try
so
to be
it's got to
loud.
be like a ton of people, right?
Yeah,
And if
get loud,
enough people
people.
are like, "Damn, that cockpit is so good. I really wish." The part of the problem is very. There's been only a few times where Vandal ships are in the meta. If Vandal ships
Yeah,
were the meta, then I think things would get adjusted on them quicker. But the blade is
yeah,
kind of in the meta right now. Kind of. It's very glass cannon type situation. And
yeah.
outside of that, it's like you don't really use the scythe or the glaive for anything. So
Well, you
that's the
say that,
problem.
and then the Hornet doesn't even have its external inventory right now, let alone the removable components.
But what about yeah? I thought it was all ships come in with their
Yeah, no, they don't even come
gold
in gold
standard
standard
press.
anymore.
No, of
Yeah.
course not. But
Um,
yeah,
but yeah, the other thing, let's see. Oh, I'm hoping that the rewards for the headhunter missions, and I guess the people who do Citizens for Prosperity, whatever, losers. I hope that these ones are just kind of the preliminary kind that like maybe they're doing the thing like they should have done with the race for Stanton thing, where they gave away all the rewards, and so they
they're
skewed the
hiding
results
something.
afterwards. Yeah,
They're
I'm hoping so, because
100%
otherwise these
hiding.
aren't really worth doing.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
worth doing for the rewards that we know about necessarily.
yeah,
It's fairly quick to do. You can share it, so maybe the rewards meet the ease of the content. But I do think that they're trying to hold back because they recognized it was a mistake for the resource drive. That
yep,
sharing everything beforehand influenced people's decisions.
for
And
sure. Yeah,
I mean, I have not posted this on YouTube yet, but I went on a bit of a rant. Surprise, surprise! When I woke up yesterday morning, opened up my Moby Glass, and it was neck and neck. And it is not neck and
yeah,
neck because people care. It is neck and neck because people don't care and they just want the skins. And it was
yep.
like, that is a problem, a big,
Hmm.
big problem. Because they keep talking about this story and that they're trying to tell these stories, right? And nobody gives a shit. Because if people actually cared about the story, they would choose a side. And
I mean, I care
my
about
hope is
headhunters, but yeah,
I care about headhunters too because as an industry player, I think that there should be risky places to go. And if headhunters
hmm,
wants things to be chaos, that's what Pyro should be, in my opinion, is pure chaos all the
yeah,
time. And if CFP wants to make it Red Stanton, I don't want that shit. So CFP is cringe. Get him out of here. But that's
yeah,
just RP
yep,
because they both are
exactly.
exactly the same with different color skins in the game currently. You get the
Yep,
same missions for each group, and they do the same things when you walk up to them. They just turn around and start shooting
yep.
at you if they don't like you. So I would love for there to be a little bit more there. If you are going to continue a second year of content being your focus, you gotta bring more. You gotta bring more to the table for me. I don't know what you feel about this, Spooner, but that's it for me. You got to give me more oomph to that
I
story for
I
me to
think that
care.
we were I think that we've been so close with the Onyx stuff and Dr. Jarrett, and it's like I was really excited to keep going with that, and
Yeah,
maybe like because if this was a normal game, it's like Jarrett. Okay, forget about Jarrett for a bit. for no reason. Like, even though we know that he's a criminal and we should be out there getting him right now, that should be our next thing.
Yeah.
It's like now we have to go and do this thing that doesn't really matter. Like, you can just do both and get a skin, and it's like, okay,
Wait,
but what about
Why?
what about Jarrett? You got me
He
caring
talked
about
to me over the
Jarrett.
loudspeaker. I never saw him. Where is he?
I just seen a vandal. I just
Yeah.
seen a vandal, and now
Where'd
what
he get it
happened?
from?
And
Nick's,
Yeah.
probably. So maybe the story's
Yeah.
not over. But yeah.
Real quick, so there was a little Easter egg on one of the data pads that I picked up for the mission. I took some screenshots. It's for this entertainer guy in lore, Elroy Cass, and there's something that says submit a video by the 22nd of October, and the line is it's a surprise it's a surprise Elroy Cass fan club. And so I'm wondering if there's like a hidden something rather, a
Maybe.
contest that people should be uploading for, but I'll take a look around. I was going to put it up on the wiki. And then last real quick things. I have a thread up on Spectrum if people want to check it out. It is essentially suggesting that for PTU, any of the items that we would be farming for, we get like a box or a kiosk that we can pick them up so we can actually test stuff for Wicklow, for the event missions, for anything where you normally have to farm for hours because that stuff doesn't get tested, and it doesn't get tested because
I feel like they
sometimes
just need
patch
to.
isn't.
I think if we just start with full rep for everything, because
That
Yeah.
too.
we wanted to test the new ships, we couldn't go and do patrols or whatever, right? And I'm not going to grind out doing all the patrols every time. There's a
Yeah.
PTU every month now, and then there's a new PTU patch every other day.
day.
It's like,
Yeah, you can't even grind it that fast.
No. Like it would be like I don't think they could pay people to do it because there's just not enough time.
And if they just add another kiosk, make it a CIG inventory kiosk in PTUs, or even
Or just
a new tab
automatically
in the
in your
inventory
inventory.
kiosk. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
PTU
Yeah,
tab. Yeah, that's a great idea actually.
And that way, like, that tab is only unlocked in PTU. They could even lock it certain things behind waves if they wanted to, so that like they need a specific higher quality report. Evos get access to such and such, or whatever they want to do. But the point is, we can't test the stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe
then,
they need to give dev tools to some testers in a way, because like here, right? How many patches was contested zones broken? Because no one is going to rerun contested zones every patch, and it only takes one thing to break. And for me, I'm not going to grind out all 7 key cards, go back to the exec hangers to figure out that the door's broken and I've got a kill zone, the other side of it. And it's like, we need a way to like just quickly, maybe it's at the exec hangers, you can just print all 7 key cards, or just go up to them and just say insert card, even if you don't. I don't know, but the game's getting so big and something's usually broken, like Hyperion breaking there, right? Because of the code. So who was running Hyperion? Everyone was testing the new boss encounter and the frontier fighters, that no one was doing Hyperion.
Only reason I went to Hyperion is because and into that room to find out that the code didn't work is because it was the first patch that the boxes were back. So it was just like, oh, I just want to make sure the armor's there. Outside of that, I would have never went.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I know people who like in PTU want to go test this stuff, but again, the amount of time that you'd have to spend to invest just to go through it and run it once,
100%.
Let alone any kind of repetition for confirmations or whatever. So
can you link me that? I'll send it up the ladder as much as I can.
Throw it in,
I can't imagine this is a bad idea. Like any argument against this is idiotic. It's PTU.
Yeah, I just dropped it in.
One of my favorite things was doing like orange missions and red missions, but there was like a patch where they just didn't work, and it was like, like this is my favorite thing I do every single day for like an hour, and it just didn't work. And it was like, well, because I didn't grind all the rep in PTU to test it. It's like, who's doing it? Like if I'm not doing it and I love doing them, no one else is doing it. So
silly. So yeah, if you guys want to go and contribute to that, please do, because I think it's a great idea. And then I put it in YouTube chat as well for you guys watching on YouTube. But yeah, Shark, anything else before we go?
Last thing, so I know I mentioned it before. I'm a blacksmith, I make blades, but I also do other things with like electronics and whatever. If you wanted me to make you a sign with like LEDs or whatever, if you cover materials and shipping, I'll make it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk.
Just tell me what you want.
That'll
Yeah,
be cool. Sweet. Yeah, we'll talk after. But
cool. Yeah,
Sharks,
you guys take care.
that's where I'll leave you, man. Be good.
You too.
Bye now. All
Bye,
right.
Sharks.
Next caller, Campu. Campu, can you hear us? Muted currently.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yes.
Hey,
Perfect.
Campo.
How you doing, dude? What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I was more thinking about, well, to be honest, I didn't join last week because Croncy wasn't there.
Oh, so now
It was
what's up? He's not here. What?
Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy.
exactly. So now I'm like, you know, third attempt, that's too much. So I just wanted to talk more about like 2026 after
Sure.
SitCon and everything.
Sure.
If that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to be super long. I wanted to have like a little bit of like a positive conspiracy almost because like everyone, I was also obviously a bit let down just because it was just not a cool sitcom like usual. Um, especially by the lack of features. But um, then the other day I was thinking about what would CIG in like a meeting tell themselves what went good with the game this year and what didn't go so well, right?
They told us at the beginning of SitCon, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And only the good, obviously,
Yep.
right?
Of course.
What went well was like content. People who play the game a lot always had stuff, right?
Mhm.
That was cool. No one denies that. The game is like really you can play the game, which it just wasn't really possible before.
Yes.
But what was really noticeable for everyone was like this lack of a future vision and like features and all of this really disturbed people. Also no ISCs and nothing like that, right? So and CitizenCon in a way just made that worse, right? Because we didn't have anything about that. Now my like kind of crazy conspiracy theory is
Okay.
that they just didn't talk about any of that stuff so they can save their shots basically for more ISCs again over the whole next year, because then they have all this content, which also not releasing Nix completed is perfect for that too, right?
Yeah,
'Cause you
they'll
can have like
slowly release throughout the year.
Yeah,
and
every
then you
month there
get
could be something new.
Yep.
yeah. Who knows if it's gonna be every month again? Because like Jared talked about like eight times about how horrible that is for everyone.
Yeah, the
But
devs are 100% burned out. Like,
yeah, maybe we can give them like every 2 months, less than that. No, whatever works best, of course. But then you have this content patches, and at the same time you can have maybe tech previews, ISCs, maybe even feature patches if we are going really crazy, of like these small features, because Chris and Rich both made like very strong statements on features this year. I didn't even really realize until I watched it again. Chris, of course, you know it's Chris, so who knows? He said they did I don't really remember the exact words, but he was saying like they did a lot of work, and over the next year we're gonna have a lot of features. And I remember Rich actually said, and this is a new term for Star Citizen, very, very soon trademarked. We had very soon and we had soon, but very, very soon is actually a new thing.
yeah.
So I kind of got like this hopium conspiracy theory going now that maybe they want to have like kind of please both sides. Like have what did they say? Like have the cake
And
eat
eat
it
it
too.
too.
Some
Yep. Yep, you
yeah,
got it right.
exactly. Yeah, and now you can call me crazy.
I don't think you're
and
too crazy
hope
because
you're
I mean
addicted.
they definitely mentioned multiple times during CitizenCon that it is what we're showing you and more. We're keeping some things
Mhm.
back. Like they said it a few times. Are they keeping it back for ISCs? I don't think that that's that crazy of a take if Jared can like put his ego aside or something like that and hear actual feedback. I think everyone knows
Yeah.
that Jared is a very big fan of himself. I'm not putting him down there. That's a joke more than anything. But if you actually listen to the feedback from this year, we want more Jared. Like that,
Yeah.
like I don't know what else to say. Is we want more ISC. I mean, maybe less Jared, more ISC. But I want to see Jared every week. I want to see his face in the
Exactly.
intro and outro every week, whether it's an SCL or an ISC. I want to see that man every week because what comes
But,
with it is so much better.
but if we're not getting inside Star Citizen and we're not getting a Star Citizen live, then we need a play along for a dev.
We need
Like just stick
something.
a dev on camera for an hour playing
Yeah.
through some content that we play every day. Like get him doing a few of the new missions, the frontier missions. Just get him flying around in a ship. Show us that these guys play the game. Like it would be awesome to see Elliot playing the game for a bit. Zach playing the game and testing out his new weapons and laughing. You know, look how
When
crazy
some-
this pulverizer is.
Yeah.
Like, man, if we're
We'll
not
deal with
getting
that.
shows,
Yeah.
if we're not
Same.
getting shows, just get them on camera for a little bit each week.
Yeah. And the thing about that is I think that it's an absolutely fair thing to ask now, but up until halfway through this year, that could have never been possible. They tried it once; it was awful because there are so many bugs that it's completely unplayable. We are not in that stage anymore for the first time ever. So to ask anybody to play this game a year ago would be unreasonable. But to say, hey, a little play along on an SCL nowadays, I think is actually a reasonable ask. And if you have nothing, they do play tests internally. I imagine they have some fun with them. They sound like they have fun with them. What's wrong with doing one externally with us? Maybe not. It doesn't necessarily have to be with us. They can have their own server, whatever. But yeah, with us watching, and like there was
In a way,
one,
it would be good to see the problems right on stream where they laugh about it and go, guys, it happens to us as well. We're working on it. It'll be better next time or whatever. This is the fixes that are going to make this better. Like, it doesn't matter if it's broken. It's broken for us. We play it every day. You think these guys on Twitch are going to be shocked to see you fall through the ground? Like, no. We
Remember
do that
Todd
every day.
Pappy? Remember Todd Pappy? They did this once with him. And let me tell you something. That singular SCL restored more confidence in me in Star Citizen and their development than any other content they have ever put out ever. Because he walked through, he knew every piece of the content that was going on. He was extraordinarily knowledgeable about it and knew the issues that were there, was aware of them, all of it. And I was like, well, shit. Okay, they get what's going on. I don't need to be as worried anymore. That restored so much confidence in me. But what do we get now? We get a bunch of kind of cinematic stuff. And then when we do get the Star Citizen Live, it is very clear that not everybody is aware of everything that's going on. And it's like,
Yeah.
And it starts a bit with the host a little bit for me. Jared's gotten a lot better with that over the years. But there's a lot of times where there's like this very clear follow-up question to a thing that we're all dealing with in the game, and they're just like not aware of it. And you're like, oh shit, I would have loved to know that, because that was the opportunity to ask it, and you just didn't get it. And then to Jared's credit, he's got that chat open and people will spam and say it, and then he'll go and do it. So like it's gotten a lot better, but that's, as far as feedback for the next year for video content, yeah, you got to give something.
You know what? Just on this topic, sorry, and then I guess we could then move on. Lars, because he streams, right?
Yeah.
Usually he's just playing Battlefield or whatever, and I actually kind of just like watching with him, and
He's in my org.
like a
We
really
play
nice
Star
guy.
Citizen a lot together.
Yes, dude, he a really great guy, right? So I watch him play like Battlefield and whatever else he's playing. But when after the Onyx facilities dropped, he was just streaming that, and I was like, oh, cool. Let me Yeah, and it was so fun. It was like
and he made that
cool
content.
watching him. Yeah, it was cool watching him experience the thing that he made. And I obviously I'm not talking to like I'm not asking him developer questions. I'm just watching
Yep.
as if he is a streamer like anyone else. And I'm just enjoying the content being kind of presented in a way. And then if he's going, oh, I remember the problem I had with this. Like that's epic, man. And
Yeah.
like even the artists could come along. The guy who developed the snake and worked as part of the animation team or the art team, Elliot should play with him or Zach should play with him. And then just kind of like,
Remember when
what's
we
one of the
had
things
this
you're proud of?
problem? Yeah.
Yeah, man. And even if the guy who did the art isn't an FPS player, he can just be carried through the event and like, maybe die or whatever. But he's, Elliot or Zach could be like, what's your favorite thing about the, this encounter? Well, I never heard the audio, like hearing the audio put with my animation, that's sick. Like, dude, how much does that cost? I'll up my subscription to the $20 per month if we can get raid alongs, if we can get these play along sessions with the developers. Like, I want to see these guys. I like seeing Elliot on camera when he comes on. For the most part, he doesn't chat shit. Like, he's real. And like, I just love to see more of that from the developers, to see that the developers are playing the game and experiencing the same things we are. If
It'd
it
be
goes
cool.
well, it goes well. If it goes bad, then it goes bad. That's what we're dealing with every day.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Like they're saying
And I
in,
think
in
you
the
can-
chat, Benoit saying he's a PvPer. I want to prove it.
let's see it,
Prove
Benoit.
it. Go ahead, Campo.
yeah,
We've talked.
and
We've taken up a lot of your time.
uh,
Sorry.
No problem. I don't have too much to say anyway. But the developers always also say about SitCon that they really appreciate that feeling that they can like show off what they did, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like that's also an advantage if you do that live. Of course, it's not as cool as with like live audience and all of that, but might be also cool. But I think that was really the big negative about 2025 was this feeling that we didn't really go anywhere, and we also didn't hear about where we're going, right? We just got cool stuff here, cool stuff there. I think if they can just make some content about features, that's what I would like suggest if I was like a consultant at CIG, right? To do this.
I think everyone's so starved of features. Like,
Yeah. That was
if
the
you've
risk.
been working on base building for the last year, cool. Just spend 10 minutes and show me, did you develop a new interface for like building, out of the boogie that you carry around and build things? Like, if that's the only thing that's happened, then just show me 10 minutes of that. Like, I guarantee you the Star Citizen community will leave you alone for another year if you give them 10 minutes. just show us a little bit how it's different from last year. And I think
this
everyone will
is
leave.
just Star Citizen
Everyone will leave you
community,
alone.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, we were looking in 2016 at some bullshit that drew up, and we're happy for 8 years. So I think they don't have to only show what's like super. I think it's better to focus on stuff that's actually coming soon. But some episodes where they just show some future stuff or just talk about something where you get like Star Citizen feelings, I think this can't hurt too
SitCon
much
is the
either.
place to show us the things that are a little
Yeah.
bit further out, though. Like a Nyx,
Yeah,
did they need
yeah.
to spend an hour on Nyx? Like, it's coming next month. Like, I like SitCon being realistic and telling me what's coming, soonish. But SitCon is the place that I'm okay if they say base building is still another year out. I'm
Yeah.
okay to hear that there.
Yeah.
If they do an Inside Star Citizen next week and go base building's a year out, I'm going to be like, damn, like, you couldn't have told me that at SitCon. That would have been better.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, maybe you have a point there also. It's because it was the CitizenCon Direct thing, right?
Yeah. That's their like they'll always be able to fall back on it. It's not a real Citizen
Mm.
Con, guys. And it's like, okay, but to us it needs to be because
Super
Tough.
tiny tangent. I think base building, I honestly think it's super far away just because of how they're gonna
Get him out of here, Mike.
handle-
Get him out of here. We don't need that negativity.
I think a lot of features are good, but just all the complicated stuff about like who sees bases, where on which chart are bases, all of that stuff. Not even gonna deal with that before they even have like dynamic server meshing. But I don't know. That's something for them to worry about, right? But
Yeah, Chris just phoned me. He said, we got to get this guy off. Got to get this guy off, Mike.
You almost got me. One last thing.
Yeah.
You were talking about like goofy, overpowered weapons,
Mhm.
Spooner. for like a patch or two. I think
Yeah.
that's super cool, and I hope that with crafting we get like some fun builds for like
They
one
showed
patch,
off.
two
I mean,
patches, everyone.
the
Exactly, yeah.
sitcon video that they showed off were some interesting builds. If you take a good look, what was it?
Yeah,
It was
like a
an
fully automatic
AO3.
shotgun.
Yeah, fully
Yeah, it was
automatic
the automated
shotgun.
shotgun. Yeah,
Full
nuts.
AO3 that was shooting P6LR damage sounds. Um, I think that was one, and then there was one other one that was just insane. So yeah, it's there might be some interesting builds that are pretty cool, and I look forward to that as well. But all right, Campo,
Yeah,
we got to get to our last caller. So is there any last
exactly.
thoughts you want, or was
No,
that
I'm
it?
just hoping that 2026 can be like 2025 but better, right? With
Yes,
a little bit of a
a little
future
more
vision.
features, a little
Yeah,
more features, and
exactly.
again, like you said, Chris and Rich hinted at that was their intentions, but until they have their early year meetings or whatever meetings they're having
Yeah,
now, it's hard to know for sure. So,
exactly.
all right, brother.
All right.
Thank you so much for your call. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Campo.
Yep. All right.
Bye now, Campo. All right, and then High Lord is next and last. High Lord, can you hear me?
I can indeed. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, dear.
Hey, Hylot.
Hello, Spooner. So, how are we all doing?
Good, good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad.
What do you
Having
want
a
to talk
fun day
about?
today. So I think out of the last year of patches, this patch launch has been the roughest one that we've had so far. So I know this is just my experience, but the first day we had all the inventory issues and you couldn't move anything for 5 seconds. The next morning I log on. I literally add a repeater and then some palisade shields to my Gladius, take off a cooler, log out of the shard, try logging in 5 minutes later, met with a 40k error for a good 2-3 hours. I then log in and I've lost my personal hangar. It's like, okay, right. Where
What
do we
is
go
the
from here?
Star Citizen telling me not to play? This
Don't
patch?
touch me for the next month, basically, is
Yeah.
the vibe I got.
Yeah.
But in regards to the mission content, I like what we're having now more than some of the other stuff we've had. If you go back to this time last year when we had the it was the slices content. The missions were nicknamed the cheesecake or something like that. It was all around the slices. We had shareable missions we could all do as a group, and you earned points and you had to complete. There was some bunker missions to go through and do. And you built up by doing the first one, second, third, and you had a proper progression linear mission system. I would like to see more of that with the shareable points where you can do them as a group.
Yeah. Do you know what I miss out of all the missions we got that were my favorite? Was the one where you went out in the middle of space and you fought off some enemies and shot the cargo hauler and then looted the cargo off the hauler and then turned it in. That was my favorite of all the missions we got this year. I'm trying to think of other ones that I loved.
That was the early V1 resource drive or supply or die.
Supply or die, I think it was. Yeah. I love that.
And then
one.
we cheesed it by doing the bounties, which then is why all the bounties lost all of their copper and corundum, and then we weren't able to hand them in anymore.
Yep.
I think
that was really
Xenothreat
good
was
sandbox
my most
concept.
the new Xenothreat, right, where you could steal the Idris after once you were done with it. So before the Idris came out as well, wasn't it? So it was everyone was able to steal an Idris and fly around. That was really fun because it was that first time CIG had shown us hey, kill everything on the outside of the ship, board the Idris, kill everyone in FPS, and then go and steal the ship or whatever, kill the pilot. That was so fun. And the trailer for that was epic. And did they use it felt like they used content creators in the trailer? It was taken from
an org.
Oh right, okay, because you had comms, didn't you? As they were.
Yeah.
That was so good. That was really good. And the trailer they made for that was cool. And yeah, I felt like they really hit it out of the park with that Xenothreat.
That was solid.
Yeah. No, but I would love to see, even going into next, some more content that you have a progress bar like we have now and we had for Resource Drive. You can see your progress clearly in the journal rather than typing in a command to see how many of the missions you actually did. And then when the next patch rolled around, no one got any rewards because it just didn't remember you, so you all had to submit tickets to go, I did these events, here's the screenshot for them all completed, please skip. But I want different content, so it's not just we're going around, going to a bunker, killing one good guy, collecting something, flying back, rinse and repeat. We need variety like we had last year. That it feels very, very, very like rushed, and like we'll do the minimum to get you through a month before the next big content, and it's like this is something just to do to fill 4 weeks, and then we move on.
I think they've made a
towards the end
mistake.
of the year.
I feel like they've made a mistake, you know, with gating the content weekly. Destiny is like, it's taken Destiny forever to learn that was the wrong approach with it, because people don't like being gated like that. Whereas I feel like maybe if you'd have just done that first, the first set of recon missions, it then just unlocks the next ones. And maybe you do it all in the first week, but then you just you don't have any content left for the rest of the month or whatever. But I feel like giving players the choice of what they could do, because I'm not really that bothered about the ones we have to go down to the bunker. But the ambush ones, I would have probably spent hours doing that. And then the one where you go and kill the Polaris in a Pyro or whatever, that was really fun in the PTU. And I would spend hours doing that again here. But obviously I'm locked out. So I'm kind of like, I'm not going to rush through these first ones because it's not the part of the mission that I like the most. And I think like gating it behind weeks, it doesn't really make sense in 2025. Like what if someone's on holiday, you know?
It makes sense
Like, I
to
just
them.
think that
People
people just want to play the content when it's made. So
yeah, they want to just say at next year's CitizenCon that their monthly active users went up. Like I feel like a lot of the stuff that they're doing is to create, like, to build up these artificial metrics that don't matter to the people who play the game at all. It just matters internally that are markers that we are doing better than we did last year. Funding is up, monthly active users are up, playtime is up. Therefore, we must be doing something right. But that doesn't mean that you couldn't have done something better. And that's the kind of argument that we're having here, right? It's board meeting shit, and yeah, I see that in the Twitch chat, and it's like we're not here for board meetings, we're here for a good time, and yeah, I don't know. I'm okay with the weekly gating because if I didn't, then I would like the first time they ever did this, it was like every Tuesday the org got together and they did the content. So like I kind of liked that aspect of it. I get what you're saying about like people not liking being gated, but it was this like schedule that we all had that we were like ready to be there and do that. But Elliot just typed in chat, so I'll read what he wrote. We prefer the resource drive approach. All missions are active, but the goal takes the time. Yeah, that was also brutal for a lot of people too. So I don't know. It depends. I think both have their negative, right? And he said Frontier Fighters finale was already planned, and so this is what it is.
Okay.
Cool.
But if we had, like, say, 2 missions on the go, so rather than at the end of the month, that mission going completely, give people more time to do it, but give us more content to do in that regard. So, like, increase the requirements. Like, the missions we have now, which is in theory a week's worth of content before the next wave gets released, took us 4 or 5 hours. So it's not even a day's worth of content if you're like doing an MMO grind. It's like a weekend, which is fine. It's understandable if you don't have the time to spend in the week, like an hour a day or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand that, but it's an MMO where we want to have longer term goals, and you have to push to get things done rather than you do this. Cool. What do I do for the rest of the week? Like, there's not a main priority for the patch. So you'll have like an active weekend, and then you'll have lower numbers until the next wave, like every Tuesday when the patch gets dropped or whenever they release the next set of missions.
Yeah. I'm just kind of disappointed that it's like the same FPS content for each one of the missions, basically, just a little varied.
Mm-hmm.
That's my issue with the current. And then the next one I think is similar, where it's just ship content. It would have been nice to have a mix of ship and FPS. Like, what did they do? Resource Drive, was it? Where it was like, you have multiple ways to complete this this content. It was like, it was Resource Drive and, Supply or Die?
It was protect ship, protect a ship, loot a ship, take over a ship, or mine the stuff.
Yeah,
was
salvage was one
effectively
as
the ways you
well.
could do it.
So I
I
kind of
feel
like
like that was the best. What you were just saying about how with resource drive, I could log on and go, okay, I just want to go and kill things in my ship. I could do the whole event like that, and it was epic. And then if I wanted to
Mhm.
shake it up a bit, I could go in a fighter and then steal the C2 or whatever, right? And it was like, then I can, that's a different way of doing the mission, and then I could just shake it up each week. Here, like I feel like maybe they could have just sprinkled in a steal the C2 mission. Just throw that in there this week and let someone do that if they want to do that, and then let someone do a dog fighting version of the mission. Just each week. I think that it was so much better having access to, like, for people who want to just do fighting, people could do fighting. If there's people want to do investigation style where they have to go into the bunker, maybe search some bodies, like that's cool as well. I think that having like a mix of resource drive to me was so boring in terms of, like, I don't want to do box delivery, right? I don't
Yeah.
want to do box delivery, but I had an option that kept me engaged with the event
You
regardless.
do piracy.
And so I did a day of piracy. I did a day of where I protected cargo haulers. I did
Yeah.
a day of, and it was so fun. Like for me, that whole month, every day I just logged in and thought, what way am I going to fill the bar today? And it was so cool because I could do whatever I wanted, essentially.
Yeah, for me, I was like, how can I fill the bar as fast as possible? Because I can't listen to cargo being clanked around so much. It was driving me nuts. But and like theoretically, that's the kind of content that I will be doing mostly. So I should have enjoyed it, but I'm scared that I didn't. But I think for me it was like I'm getting berated in chat by one of my mods, and he's saying like, hey, you're saying it's too short when it's too long. You're saying it's too long. I just think that there's probably a middle ground somewhere between the two. That would be the best situation.
I think when High Lord said like 5 hours was like too short for him, I'm like, yeah, but most of the people who play this game aren't streamers, aren't content creators, and I do fight for the regular player, which is like 5 hours is long if you're finishing a job and coming home. And I'm not saying that they need to develop the game around that person either, but there is a middle ground. It's like,
well, the
maybe a
reason
little
it
bit
was
longer,
5
maybe a little bit
hours is
shorter.
why. It's because we were all in comms together, sharing missions. We're doing them individually.
Yeah.
But we were sharing the missions.
We did both factions as well. So, like, in theory, you've got your aligned to one faction. So, in theory, you'd be doing one of the factions. That should be the goal for that. But we did all of the available content. Yes, we were in a group and doing it as a group, which we couldn't do for Resource Drive, which is why Resource Drive felt like such a slog, because it was a solo event, effectively, because the rewards weren't split. Whereas this is split, but the number is a lot lower than Resource Drive.
But when you say you're doing it in a group,
comparable-
were you just sharing
Yeah.
missions? You weren't playing together in the same ships, were you?
Yeah, we were in
me and-
duos or trios.
Me and the mod who was yelling at me were in a ship together. He was in the turret. I was flying the ship, and then so we were splitting up in groups of two, and then because the thing is it's difficult to share a mission. Like you had to, if you had a mission, you couldn't get another one, but somebody else could if they didn't have that mission yet. So we would share right before turning in, and just get through it right away. And
That's how I'm going to complete this mission. I'll be honest with
Exactly.
you. I'm going to complete the mission
Mhm.
by like, maybe I'll do 1 or 2 on stream, and then like the lads will probably just be doing their own.
That's
Yesterday I was a
exactly
little bit
what I
bored because I was like, who wants to jump in and do some of this? And like everyone was off just doing the bar mission on their own.
Yeah. So,
So I got to play with.
what I did was I finished Headhunters and I did half of CFP off stream, and then I came on stream yesterday and finished CFP on stream. And I was like, there it is, done and dusted. And I look forward to next week where it's probably a little bit more engaging.
Yeah. Like, the missions are designed for like either 1, 2, or 3 people. Like, you can do them solo, you can do them easily as a duo. As a trio, it just makes them a lot faster because you have one person sat in the turret, the other person jumps out the ship while the main one's flying it. He goes, picks up the badge, jumps back into the ship, and you do 2 of those. Then you go back to your space station, hand it in there, and then go again.
Oh, and let me give
Like,
some
that's
advice
how-
for some people, because I see in YouTube chat, the Silver, dude, I feel bad for you. Spawned in Pyro because he thought it was Pyro only, because it's fight for Pyro kind of situation.
Mhm.
of the 10 servers that are available, my understanding is 8 of them are in Stanton and 2 of them are in Pyro. So none of the missions are working well in Pyro because everything is falling through the ground and all this stuff. They did not choose good server distribution. So if you are going to do these missions, do not do them in Pyro, folks. They might fix it for week 3 or something like that. But it is rough for this week. Go to Stanton if you want to get your tracks done. Just a word of advice there.
And if you are doing them in a larger party of, let's say, three groups of 3, spread out between Hurston, Microtech, and ArcCorp, because then you're running that area's missions, and so you're not overlapping, but you can still share them across the main server. So you can then pick up more missions faster, go to less populated areas, and just do the missions there. It just felt that this was sort of group content at last, but not enough to be like a regular get together to do a bit more of it. This was a one and done scenario.
Like this was all solo content. I felt like this was all solo this week. I think that it feels like if you're doing it as a group, that's like an option, right? But I felt like this first week is all soloable. The second week is soloable, but if you've got a friend on the turret, maybe it's quicker because it'll be the ambushes. And then obviously the last week is where you assemble the squad to take on the Polaris. That's how I felt with it. And by the way, like I haven't really spoken to, because I don't really have an org or whatever, but I haven't really spoken to my community about what we're doing. I never really arrange anything, but I just felt like everyone was off just doing them. And I couldn't even get anyone to come and play with me and do what we would normally do, which is like the red patrols or whatever for an hour. But I couldn't get anyone. Everyone was off doing their own missions.
Yeah, they want to see bar go up. It's a motivator.
Bar go up.
Yep.
Bar go up.
It's bar go up as quick as possible, which is like the great things that we're getting now is Resource Drive had a bar. You saw it go up slowly because you were mostly doing it on your own, because if you did it with anyone else, you were just splitting what resources you could get between you all until the last month when they had a bug and you were able to complete the mission in one ship, basically, where all the resources were spawning and you had like 800 SU being turned in by one C2. It was insane. But yeah, at least this one, you share your progress rather than it only going to one person or splitting out between everyone. You're doing the same missions together. You're getting the same mission progress, but the cash is splitting, which I think is the correct way to do it.
Correct.
But they could have potentially made the number like 2,000 or 3,000 in terms of actual hand-in progress if we are doing it in larger groups. Or, again, have scattered rewards throughout the bar. So you only need to get to 1,500 to get, to be considered done, but you can go further if you want to continue that to help progress the faction and get them to win effectively.
Unfortunately, that's the part that's missing is we don't know why we're working, like why you're choosing one or the other. If you knew why, it would motivate your decision more, but they can't tell you too much because then it would motivate it too much and you would choose one side or whatever. So yeah, it's a weird situation.
I felt like they got that balance right with the resource drive where I wanted the black and gold armor. That was Hurston. But then it was like, where do you want to get some discount for, right? And it was like, you're going to get a bit of discount at Hurston shops. And then that's really great. And then Hurston will fly the flag at the jump gate. And it's like a little bit of that in this context would have made a bit of difference, right? Is like, oh, if you're going headhunters, then you get some discount at like, I don't know, checkmate or whatever. Like, I don't know where the guys, spawn, but just a little bonus like that would have made a massive difference. I think you probably would have all the pirate, because I've got because I started my community when we were doing contested zones. A lot of my guys are like, when are we going back to pyro? But maybe that makes a difference, right? All my guys who are usually pyro would take headhunters because they're spawning in obituary or checkmate. So a little discount at the shops might have made a big difference.
Yeah.
It would have been an actual war between the factions.
Yep. So I like to see real impact. Like I've played MMOs where like entire cities that people used to be in were destroyed. Like literally something like Siege of Orison destroying Orison. Like the shops aren't there anymore. Things are on fire. You wake up in the patch and you're like, what is happening? You're getting shot, and like you got to get out and then fight your way through and actually save Stanton. Save Siege.
I feel like we're getting into like a imagine scenario here.
Imagine all this
like,
stuff we could have.
Imagine all this cool stuff, and imagine, imagine the jump gate between Pyro and Stanton gets controlled, and the people on Pyro's side have to fight for that side. The people on this side have to kill the NPCs on this side, and then one day the gate is open and we get to share, the jump point together again. There you go. We could do this all day long with everything in the game, but this all kind of comes back to like,
there's too many things to do and not enough time to do them because
and the
game is
basics
so
that need to
big.
be working first. Like
Yeah.
the basics
Yeah.
need to work first. I honestly think we've got the sandbox. Now we just need to fill it with content, and the basics need to work. That's why I've never really been concerned with how long the game's taking. If all the time spent building the sandbox and then it takes a year to fill it with content, like Epic, because that'll be the quickest part of it, right? But we need the basics kind of working. Guns to work, reloading to work, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
No, agreed. But I would have liked being able to have. We've got two very different factions that we're doing the event for, Headhunters and CFP. We could have had missions styled after their organization's personality, like economic style missions for CFP, chaotic missions for Headhunters. But we've got the same thing, and that's how I think it's felt like, not monotonous, but like it's gone in a flash, because I don't think we've changed missions like we could for Resource Drive. And you said you enjoyed Spooner, like being able to do stuff in an hour and then going, actually, I'm going to go hijack that ship instead.
Yeah, if Headhunters was all murdering people, but CFP was escorting missions, because then we've now got those escort missions where you escort an NPC into the hangar or whatever, right? Like, and I'm not killing anyone, I'm protecting someone, so it's a combat mission, but ultimately it's because you're a good person, taking, escorting or whatever. But you're right, that sounds ace, Hylord, as well.
And then they don't have to tell you what their objective is. It's based off what you can work out by doing those missions for that faction. And they just drip feed you hints rather than data pads, just like actual voice lines come in, and we go from there.
Yeah. What would it be called? Personality. Like, there's no personality between the two factions. So you have a hard time falling in love with one and it being your style. And they can write whatever they want, but if it isn't impactful or you don't feel it in the game, it doesn't make sense and doesn't work. And that's what's happening now. Again, if you look, they're probably, again, extremely close to each other still. And reason being is because nobody actually cares for either of those factions. And that is a ball drop on their part. And again, just take in that feedback, learn from it, and please do better next time, like we say every patch. And it gets better.
Good one.
Wait, so I was just going to say, in fairness, if we get these kind of missions, which are kind of bare bones, and we're not really making informed decisions and all this, I'll take one of those if the next one is like a banger. Like the next one is like awesome, because they didn't have time, because it's a small, it's a small team, small indie company. They haven't got the resources to be making every month a banger content. I'm okay if it's box delivery missions one month, if it's like the worm fight the next month, if it's
Bro, are you on the
Stormbreaker
payroll? Did you just say small indie company when they have 1,000 fucking people?
Chris,
Was that a joke?
Chris, I got him. I got him, Chris.
Yeah, but one of the issues I think we've run into now is the way the storytelling's been done, where we've had the break from all of the Pyro stuff and the Amelia content. We had that break when we got to Invictus, and then we went on to doing the ASD storyline. And we've just suddenly been thrown back at the Pyro storyline. It's like very disjointed, rather than having the hints of it going on in the background and having like subtle little missions in the verse to keep you invested in that storyline. We dropped it. We forgot about it because we have the attention span of a goldfish. We've gone and done the new content. We've then come back to this going, wait, who are we? Where are what do we do? What was the last thing we did for this guy? So that I think was a little bit of an issue where we've been thrown back in, but here's what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah, so
and that is
I
it
don't know.
from me. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, so I have taken 25 minutes. Apologies.
What was the end of the story with the respawn thing? Is that finished?
Who knows?
Or is that connected? Is that connected to the ASD thing?
Don't know.
That's
right. Okay.
So they said they're doing like a bit of story A, then taking a break and doing story B, then like swapping back and forth. So we've got more of this.
I was just checking. I had
thrown back to it later. No, so this is going to be probably going to go into Nick's and going right. So you've got a bit of Nick's story, and now back to Stanton in 6 months' time. So
Yeah.
we've got that to look forward to again. Nick's and Victor's.
Yeah. So I think I don't think Elliot just wrote resource allocation is something that he has to handle. Save time here or save here to spend there. Just want to make sure that we put that out there so other people can see it because it's only in Twitch chat. But yeah. So Hylord, I guess that's where we'll let you go, and we're enjoying our break from having to sell at Wicklow for a little bit. I think I know I am enjoying a little less grind, which is nice. So all right, we'll let you go,
Indeed.
and then we will put an end to the show. So thanks, Hylord.
Thank you very much. Pleasure as always. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. All right, Spooner. So I was having so much fun, I lost track of time, and we're 25 minutes past when I said I needed to be off. So we're gonna get out of here quite quick. But before we do, where can people find you? Do you have anything upcoming that you want to promote or anything like that to say to the people who may not know you?
Honestly, I just stream on Twitch every single day. That's like my favorite thing to do. I might start taking days off soon, but I stream every day. About this time, you can find me and YouTube. But other than that, just play the game and have fun.
Yes, of course. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for filling in. I appreciate it, and I'm sure I might ask you to fill in again sometime soon because with Croncy and a newborn, I can't imagine he's going to be able to make it that often.
Anytime.
And I enjoyed it. Yeah. I hope everybody else did enjoy it. Let us know in the comments what you guys thought. If the comments are good, we'll invite Spooner back. If they're bad, we won't. I'm just kidding. I'm sure they'll be great. And because I had a great time and I thought it was a fun convo and yeah, I get on with Spooner very well. So I think it works out. But again, if you guys are new here, check us out both on Twitch. I guess I should I guess we don't have to because we're doing the shared chat now. So check us out on Twitch, Citizen Spooner. If you guys are watching on YouTube.
Yeah, have you got a link to the YouTube? Because I can post that now, or can you just post the link in shared chat? Guys, go follow the Answer the Call YouTube channel. If I get the link,
YouTube.com/ what is it? C@Answer the Call SC. I don't think I have a loop thing off the top. I think that's correct. If it's not, it's something close to that. Answer the Call SC is the @ for it.
No, it's not that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll post it during my stream. I'll post the link and we'll get the guys.
I don't think I have a command for it, unfortunately. I should. Maybe ! Podcast. There you go.
Oh, hell yeah.
That should do it.
All right, guys. Hit the sub button. Thank you.
There you go. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. And we will see you next time. But here's the thing. You got to do the cringe thing with me. Do you have your phone near you?
Yeah. Do I have my phone with me?
Yeah. Is it near you?
Oh, because I listen to the podcast. Do you usually do something on camera for it? Yeah. I usually hear it because I'm out walking the dog when I watch it back.
We say, don't forget.
You hold up a phone?
And then you put your phone up to your ear. And then you say, answer the call. You have to do it. It's the rules.
Do we count down to it?
No, I say, all right, guys. And then don't forget. And then you have to say, answer the call while you put your phone up to your ear.
Oh, okay, hold on. I'll get my phone.
And then the entire chat posts any cringe emote they possibly can.
Right, go on. We'll do this. We'll do it next time. We won't need to have this conversation.
No. But guys,
less cringe next time.
I hope you guys enjoyed yourself, and don't forget.
Oh, hold on. I unlocked my phone. Answer the call, guys. Answer the call. Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Chris.